Welcome to Day6 Game Stories, or D6 Stories, or...
That's right, D6
Yeah.
Stories.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah,
At
whatever it's
D6
called.
Games.
I'm your host tonight, Josh. We're playing episode, was it 12 now?
I think so.
I think it's 12 of Cataclysm. And here I have our 5 beautiful, yes, you 3 men are beautiful, players. and I'm going to have you guys roll call, and we're going to go a little bit opposite of what we did last week, which was what is your favorite thing about Aelrindel, right? And this time is what is your least favorite thing about Aelrindel? That's going to be the question of the night. So we'll start with Aelrindel himself. What is the least favorite thing about yourself?
I keep having to improve on perfection.
Man. Okay. And you are?
Aelrindel. The wild magic sorcerer.
Okay.
Freer of slave.
And we'll start... We're going to go to Gideon last, because I know that he's got something like really nice kind of...
Oh, I should stop updating my Facebook. You're telling everyone to go to this.
Yeah, so we'll go to you last. Emily.
Okay, I'm Emily. I play Mississippi Trail. And is it my least favorite thing? Mississippi's least favorite thing.
Either.
Okay, Mississippi's least favorite thing is that he keeps taking all of her ideas.
Okay. Like, are they...
Good or bad.
Were they suggested to him and then he's like, oh yeah, those are mine? Or
Well,
are they...
he claims them when they work.
Okay.
Yeah, which is false.
Liz?
My least favorite thing is that he won't just man up and fight his own battles.
I've been fighting in every fight.
Yeah, if you call fighting hiding,
And your character?
is Abbott.
And he is a...
A cleric.
Okay. Abbott the Cleric. Then
Dark
we'll go over
Prophet.
here to Ryan.
Shut up.
I'm Ryan, I'm playing Felric the Monk, and I would say least favorite thing would be not enough wild magic surges.
I know.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
That one time it just helped.
Yeah, there's going to be
More-
the one
more of
time
those.
that you're going to be like, it's squished by a mountain because of...
But you know, what a way to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
recovered from, one surge.
Yeah. Speaking about that one terrible surge, Jeff,
Yeah,
introduce your character.
you shouldn't have made me think about this, because you made me think about it and I
Oh,
thought,
that's Celeste.
I don't think Gideon would actually... The way that I kind of built the character, it's for the sake of us being in the story and me getting to play Gideon when he's even in the party anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think he would have put up with that kind of arrogance for this long. For the record, Jeff, I love this character that he's playing. I think it's great. As a DM, I would love to have someone like this around my table. But yeah, like, it's just, there's the arrogance, there's just the straight up, like, Gideon's actually tried, like, a couple of times, like, here's the olive branch, like, here, let's try to get some peace and mutual respect in here, and it's just been batted away every time, and it's just like...
There's like one session where we started agreeing on stuff.
Yeah, you agreed with me, and that's great.
All
I
right.
don't think... can I also throw out one thing, though?
What's that?
We were talking about it behind camera, away from the camera, but I just throw it out there that, like, if it ever comes down to, like, he's dying and I'm the only one who can save him, I am going to roll a dice to see if that happens or not. Because,
And on a 1.
Yeah. So, like, I was just warning the audience that, again, that I told Nate that. He's like, okay.
So,
Like you wouldn't even spare a glass of water if he was on fire.
Maybe not.
in summary, Nate thinks Aelrindel thinks of himself that he is perfection, and it is difficult to truly improve upon that. And everybody else is thinking you are not all that hot stuff. You need to man up, and your arrogance needs to be just cut down.
I soloed your successor.
That was pure luck.
Yeah.
You would have rolled anything else, and we would have been greased everywhere.
And that's somebody's
So,
been
what
rotting.
looks it like?
That's somebody's been rotting in a tomb for 300 years.
It doesn't really matter. We could have taken her.
Okay.
I wasn't afraid.
Solo character.
So, to summarize what happened last session is, the party kind of pawed around Redmere some more. Had the option, we could have just left.
Oh
The
yeah.
party could have just left.
Yeah, we could have.
And the party decided to hang out around a little bit more. Jeff didn't really get to know. Or Liz, were you there too? You were.
At what point?
They both missed one.
They both missed the first
Yeah.
session of Redmere.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
neither of them really kind of understood what Redmere was like. We told them, but they didn't quite understand. So they wanted to experience it a little bit more. So we put a little bit more time into Redmere. And Redmere went from bad
To worse.
to worse. So Redmere is...
Horrible.
You will never find a hive of more scum and villainy than Redmere.
And Disney now claims this video.
But it is a casted society with elves up on top, dwarves somewhere in the middle, and then everything else are slaves. And that's the way it is. Elves are bloodthirsty. There's drug use. There's the slavery. Obviously, there's random killings, which are celebrated. It's not a nice place. And so, you guys are actually... Aelrindel is looking to get married. And in order to do that, he needs to prove his worth as a potential suitor. And
By committing genocide.
the word for that was
Not
genocide.
the word I used in the deal.
And so, in order to do this, they're having troubles in the local gold mines that feed into Redmere and the industry that's in Redmere. So, you guys are going to go and quell the Mushroom Man uprising that's happening in the mines, in the mountains there. And you guys are currently on the route there. And when you happen upon, you can actually, when you guys left Redmere, you were able to follow these tracks, these cart tracks, gigantic rails, and you happen upon a cart full of gold and ore, pushed by, I think it was 3 slaves, 6 slaves,
6
Ooh.
brutish humans.
6 slaves, and behind them was a dwarf riding atop of a giant, basically monitor lizard, if I remember correctly. And the monitor lizard, size of a bus, basically, we'll just call it that. And huge,
It's a lot bigger than a
gigantic
horse.
thing. Yeah, it's
It's a lot bigger than a horse.
yeah, it's massive. This lizard itself, and you guys wanted to do something about this, and here's a thing that's completely you noticed is there is an elf amongst you, and elf are top tier. They're A class, and so the dwarf was tipped his hat basically to Aelrindel and was going to proceed, but you guys see the 6 slaves working the dwarf whipping the slaves into for almost no reason. They seem to have been pushing the cart. I mean, straining to push the cart, but they're pushing the cart nonetheless. And you felt a little tug in your hearts, and you decided that you wanted to do something about this. And that's where we left it.
Yeah.
Because this is not an easy feat, because these 6 slaves have collars that they're wearing that, upon a spoken command word
In Elvish.
will detonate and basically ruin those 6 lives for forever by decapitation. So you guys are looking and you want to do something about this, but you know you need to do it in an instant if you do.
Yeah. So Jeff, what were we thinking?
How fast is this cart going?
Well, they're
1
approaching
mile
us.
an hour.
1 mile an hour.
So really slow.
Very slow.
So slow like a sloth.
Or slow like a.
I'm so glad you can pick that up. I saw it. I'm like, I hope she picks it up.
Oh my god.
Super, super slow.
Yes. Hold on.
Yes, okay, I have a sloth and she has a turtle. I'm so glad you saw that. I was just like, I almost reached over to grab it for you and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
my
so-
God, it's hers to play.
I just realized I didn't grab my integration tokens.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. I'll just mark down that I have
If we
two.
end up there.
To be
You
fair,
only get one.
Gideon, because they're moving so slow,
You what?
and it would be easy to catch up with.
No guarantees.
I think we just kind of.
Um,
I'm proposing that we continue on, and then after they're kind of out of earshot, we take a moment to discuss what we'd like to do.
Yeah, they're not going any. Well, I mean, they are going somewhere, but you
Or you know,
easily
fine.
outpace them.
It's fine.
You can move off into a private area.
Sure.
And they are. You can hear them every once in a while. One of them screams "Ah!" as it's getting whipped with a snap.
I have one of
And as you pass by, and the dwarf pays his respects to Aelrindel, you can feel that the earth kind of rock a little bit underneath. You come to one realization. That monitor lizard is gigantic. And you can see the large musculature on the lizard. If it were simply fitted with a harness, you could easily pull that cart. But no.
Of course not.
Can we attach an invisible rope to it?
But
No,
no,
see,
that's not
it's
how
not
this place
Nice.
works.
Sure.
Um,
So you guys move
I
on,
do have a suggestion.
and you get to out of earshot.
Out of character discussion.
No, this is Gideon.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Carry
No,
on.
this is Gideon. Gideon's kind of like, all right. So you did right by that one slave.
Yeah.
You ready to do right by a couple more?
We're either gonna do right by them or we're gonna do real wrong by them.
No. It's pretty simple, right? From what I understand, elves are at the top, right?
Yeah.
That guy's underneath, right?
Yes.
So let's see what you can get him to do.
Uh-oh.
What is your stances on slavery there, Aelrindel? Like, how does your character feel about this situation? Do you feel like, finally, this is the way it should have been this whole time? Or do you feel indifferent about it? Or do you have, like, a bleeding heart when you see these?
We watch
Oh, he
him.
definitely doesn't.
Or
have
is
a
there
brain.
somewhere kind of, like, gray in between?
Somewhere in like the okay, it's wrong, but it's somewhere between bleeding heart and indifferent. It's wrong, but the resources are there, so why not? Like
The
they're
system's in place, and
The
it
sys-
obviously works.
I'm not
Therefore, it can't be broken.
No, I'm not justifying. I'm saying, well, they have, that's what they had. That's what they gave us was, the pack mule. So I wasn't gonna say no. So it's not he is not for it, but
He's not.
it's the when in Rome. Okay, fine. I guess this is how things are done here. It's the first place he's really been able to blend in and not have to hide his face. So
You're not one to change the existing
it's the status
Status
quo.
status quo, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Gideon is.
So how readable is that on you when he's speaking to you about this change? Are you kind of like you are in person, kind of or is your character reacting to it a little differently?
He's probably reacting like I did, where it's not a fan, but
Yeah.
it exists.
So as you're doing this, I'm gonna allow you to roll an insight.
Sure.
So we as characters don't know as much about his inner.
Is that a nat 20 or a nat
That's
1?
a nat 20 right there.
Okay, so everything we just got out of him player-wise, asking, you know that.
Wow.
You can sense that as a character.
All right.
Good roll.
Yeah. Good night. Okay.
He's a jerk, not a monster.
Yeah.
First roll of the night, huh?
Wow. That was
hoping
fantastic.
that'll
Yeah,
set
so
it
let's so as you kind of hum and haw about it a little bit, I can still tell there's some sincerity in there.
Yeah.
These are still people to you.
I
So
mean,
They're in unfortunate circumstances.
I will, and he will have pointed out that you guys didn't, if he was all for it, you guys would have also been wearing collars in the city.
Yeah,
That's true.
Very true.
That's
Suck
true.
at it.
He wouldn't have taken him off from us when he got him on us.
Yeah.
Could
No
could
one
Gideon figure
mansion.
out why you still
No
sent
one
me
puts
to
Vicky in the
the
corner.
to sit with the dogs?
It was his pure hatred for you.
Yeah.
It was.
Is
It
it
was
pure
a-
hatred?
It's not hatred.
Okay.
It's
Rivalry.
Distaste?
kinda, yeah. It's. I saw an opportunity to mess with you, and it was too good to not.
Yeah.
Rivalry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe what we do is we let's plan A, plan B this. And I'm open for suggestions. Here's what I'm suggesting. Plan A, you go in and say that you need those pack mules for us.
Can you not say the word slave?
We are in
You
need.
can't even say
You
it.
can say that your party is in need, and that we are actually on our way to.
There's no his party about it.
And what?
He is in
Yeah.
need.
We need
But
to
you
write
need it. You need it, and you're just going to order him to use the lizard to pull the thing because it's plenty strong enough. And if he doesn't like it, he can push it himself if that's the way he's going to play, kind of a thing, right? I'm sure you could play that role really well.
I know I was going to end up wording it if we go with this plan.
Right. So you could do that. I totally believe you could convince him, but if for some reason he just can't be convinced, how would you guys? Again, the fighting is just not my thing. The talking things through, yep. Yeah, I mean, I might be able to help, because I might be able to charm, alarm, and ding dong him, and
I mean, he's not going to listen to you, clearly.
I have my ways, and he pulls it, and Gideon pulls it, and he's like, "Bling."
You don't have that spell that allows you to change your appearance.
No.
That would make you so.
That would be great right now. Yeah.
Do you
If
have
we-
silence?
No.
If we need
Does anybody have a gag?
Let me check.
This is going to be so bad if the priest has a gag.
I mean,
I got handcuffed, guys.
I still have manacles, right? The manacles of safety and security.
Yeah,
I'm
why?
sorry, what?
That's right. We did actually chain up a guy once, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'm convinced
Yeah,
that
that's
the
right.
manacles were.
Yeah,
were
good old
Friendship
Tadnat.
bracelets.
Yeah.
Had that.
That's
Yeah.
right.
The ball gag.
Oh, yeah,
Holy fortitude.
That's right, we found two people.
Yeah, we've done this. We've done this before, but it looks like we won't have to even resort to that. Like you can
I
just
mean,
kind of.
if we just need him,
Because I'm just saying.
if we just need him off the lizard to ambush him, I could.
Well, ideally, we need him silenced so that he can't utter the word that will kill the slaves.
What word is that again?
Alright.
I don't speak Elvish.
I have a reliquary and a Fabergé egg. Can
Do you have
we
a
make
scarf
this
and a
work?
Fabergé egg? We
Oh,
can
I
kind of.
probably have. Oh wait, I don't.
Do you have any idea how big Fabergé eggs are?
Is it big enough?
No, Gideon's like,
Will it muffle his
like-
mouth?
I could make
We're off
it
to a
work
great
with that
start,
cape
guys.
of yours.
His cape?
Yeah,
Sweet. Well,
someone can mend it.
All right.
Who has mend? Yeah.
Do we have decisions?
We could.
coming up here?
I mean, yeah, we could.
Anyway, give me the gag and I'll sneak around back just in case I need to climb up and strangle him. I mean, gag him.
I'm fairly certain I can get him off the lizard willingly.
Okay, cool. I'm still gonna get behind him.
And when I say that, I'm going to kind of pull out the mortar and pestle and alternative ration I have.
He's a druggie, kids. Don't do drugs.
Yes.
Don't do drugs.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I like where you're
Stays
heading
cool.
with this. I like where you're heading with
So,
this. Man, this is 2 sets of slaves he's helped me free. It's downright forgivable that he sent me into a pen.
Alright, so plan A is he's
It
gonna
made you
talk
cut
him
your
off the
throat.
lizard
yeah.
and talk him into releasing his slaves. Plan B is he's gonna talk him off the lizard and we mute him
And we
and
do
then free the
things.
slaves.
We do things. Alright.
And plan C's Jiffy Pop. Plan A and plan B don't work. I think that's what happens.
Plan C. What do you mean by. Oh, you're gonna.
No,
What?
he's going to end up
Uttering
shouting a
words.
word and pop, pop,
Oh!
pop.
So if we fail,
Can we
You
make
are-
that like plan Z?
You are.
Yeah, we are
you are.
risking it.
You do know that you're risking their lives.
Yeah. Well, it's we risk their lives now, or they end up just dying on the slaughter field someday. So
Okay.
at least they have a chance with us.
Okay.
I'll roll those dice,
Yep.
especially when I'm rolling 20s.
So you
Right
turn
from the
around.
beginning.
Yep.
I'm just holding up the Fabergé.
I turn around and,
Head back towards the dwarf.
yep, with, slaves and resident healer in tow.
So are
I
we
will-
coming up behind the dwarf?
Yes.
Wait, who's the healer though?
The
Which healer? You
Yeah.
have a pick between two of them.
the one that wasn't requested to wear a collar.
Okay.
That's right.
We never would have gotten one on him in the first place. Let's just be honest. He has too much pride.
Gideon is
Pride
too much
is
of a
deadly.
coward. Just stand up for
Okay,
himself.
what am I doing now?
We are following and hoping that he can talk well.
All right. So you.
Hey, as we're going in, I'm gonna inspire you with a little ditty.
So you.
Song for you.
You turn around
It's like a
after your discussion and walk towards. Now, you do just need to follow tracks, and just a little ways down, you see that they have stopped at this point, and two of them are kind of like two of the humans are kind of leaning over and panting, and you can see that the whip is currently around the neck of a third one, and the dwarf is yanking back and shouting at him gibberish. It doesn't mean a whole lot.
Yeah,
and
I'm
the
gonna
other
yell at
three
him.
are just standing there. They're back. They look in shock.
He was already off the lizard then.
No, he's on the lizard.
Oh, he's
Oh.
on the lizard. Okay.
He's
That's a long
on the lizard
I want
with
that whip.
with his whip.
Okay.
He looks like he had snagged it Indiana Jones style around the neck of
I want it.
yeah.
You want the slave whip.
I just no.
She wants the Indiana Jones whip. Let's just call it what it is.
Don't worry,
man.
Abbott's gonna consecrate it so that it's no longer a slave whip.
When did I become the consecrator of all things?
I think the king made you that.
No,
Dark prophet.
not real.
So
You get out of here.
I'm gonna yell. I'm gonna yell at him to quit messing around, because sheer arrogance. He's the cart's not moving forward. He must be messing around. Sounds like something an elf would yell at
Make
him.
him put himself
Yeah.
on the defense.
Okay.
Nice.
Then he says, "You hear that? My lord speaks." And he yanks and he says, "Get up off your feet."
Off your feet.
Yeah.
It's gibberish.
He's
He's
shouting
not
John.
thinking
He's
clearly.
shouting
Okay.
nonsense at these things. Already said that.
Oh, so you're telling me this
I heard
is
you, man.
insane.
No.
So I'm going to start explaining to him that we've been walking for most of the day, and we've had to be slow because of a couple of the shorter-legged slaves that I unfortunately brought with. And
He's not talking about you.
Technically, Gideon thinks he could be talking about it because Gideon's really short.
Yeah, Gideon's small.
He's
And,
You're small. I'm average.
I'm going to require these slaves to help expedite our journey. They look strong enough to carry the slower ones.
He undoes his whip. He puts a ripple down, and you see it unhooks from the man's neck, and he turns to face you as you walk up to the side of the Minotaur lizard and say this, and he says, "But my lord, these are Baral's slaves. They are not my slaves to give."
They are whose slaves?
Baral's?
Father of the bride.
Yeah, father, my future ex-father-in-law.
Yeah, okay. I didn't. Okay, it's fine. I get it now. It's alright. I understood the first time you said it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to immediately say that we are on orders from him to clean out this mine. And I'm going to make a big deal that he will basically soon be my in-law, and as soon as I clean out this mine, and these slaves are basically mine already.
Roll a diplomacy there. Persuasion. Sorry. 4th edition, creeping into the brain.
Remember, you are inspired. You can use a D8 at any point.
First thing I'm going to do is tides this one.
Use a reaction to re-roll that. Why don't you?
Sure.
Yeah, re-roll that.
Nat 20. Eventually.
After 13 different rolls.
So you used your Tides of Inspiration to get grant advantage, and then you used your...
You use Tides of Chaos and then
or
Bountiful Luck.
Bountiful Luck is so bullshit.
Plus Bardic Inspiration. Plus
Yeah, you added
No,
one.
he actually
Well
didn't
done.
need to add the Bardic Inspiration.
Yay!
Participation
Yeah, of
trophy.
course, it's only one with you. That's the best I can inspire you.
He says, yes, you can have 2 of my slaves. He says, he points towards 2 of the ones that are standing off. They look to be not as winded as the 2 that are kind of down and panting, and the one that now is laying on the ground. And then there's a 3rd one that's just standing there.
He's going to act pissed and entitled. I know it's a stretch.
But yeah. Complete stretch with Aelrindel.
And ask him if he doesn't understand common. Did I say I wanted 2?
Did I stutter?
Basically, he's going to do the... It's a combination of did I stutter and do you know who I is?
Do you know who I is?
Yeah. He says, but my lord, how will I get this ore to the city? And we've already struggling as it is.
Your lizard looks strong enough.
He says, but it's forbidden.
Why?
Only those of the lower caste must do hard labor.
And you're a lower caste than me.
He says, I am not a filthy slave.
I didn't say you were a slave. I said you were lower than me.
He says, even if you force me to do this hard labor, I cannot do it by myself.
Is he implying that his lizard is of the same caste that he is?
Probably smarter than him. You seem capable enough.
About animals and castes, where they stand.
Caste sits at the top of the food chain above everything else.
Yeah, it's like the Hindu culture. Like,
I mean, you're
the
probably getting
monitors
closer.
are like the
Oh,
cows.
I'm-
what did you just say?
I'm ready
So.
to climb.
You seem capable of figuring it out.
Is this lizard wearing like a saddle and harness?
Yeah, there is
everything?
a saddle, and kind of the
stuff to grab on.
stuff to grab onto. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Are you stealthing around?
I am slinking.
Yeah, well, you can go ahead and roll that then.
Okay.
You're slinking and slunking. Slunk!
That's a natural 20.
Good night!
A total of...
Why don't we even roll dice? Yes, you can do this.
26?
Yes, you can do that.
Yeah, so, I will slink, and I'm kind of slinking on the other side of the lizard from where Aelrindel is, and I will start to try to climb my way up the harness behind the dwarf.
Okay.
Slug.
And he continues to say, you can have 3 slaves. The 3 healthy. These other 3 would be useless to you. They would do nothing. And when they are rested, in a few hours, they can push the cart again.
So you're intending to give these slaves a break when I need them now?
He says, well, the one is near death. You would just drive it to its death. I am not one to judge. It's maybe your will. But it would be more productive for me to keep these 3.
Near death is not death. I'll use them as I see fit.
That's right.
How long-
You've drawn the line.
how-
He has to come to you.
How long
you don't
before
have to
I
go to-
successfully make it up behind the door? Because that...
Can I at one point?
I'd say you're there. You rolled really well.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
sure did.
you're up there.
Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of like see if I can't make eye contact and just be like,
So yeah, you see her.
Yeah.
She's climbing up the side of the
And
saddle.
you have the
The
gag.
dwarf.
Yeah.
The dwarf is straddling this lizard.
and a knife.
It is more like feet out. It's so big, and he's kind of leaning and looking to you, and then you see her head just kind of peek over just a little bit, and with her eyes,
My
just-
hat.
her hat, and then her eyes just above the level of the lizard itself, and yeah.
I'll message you because only
Yeah.
you can hear it. I'll be like, do you want me to give him a headache? Because you can whisper back under your breath.
I'm still trying to just privilege this guy into submission.
Sure.
She's
It's like
free to
kind
do
of
whatever.
working, right?
Yeah.
He's basically he doesn't want to be stranded here.
Oh, you know what?
Car.
I'll whisper him. Tell him to get down. And well, that's true. I couldn't see you. You beat my perception. I don't know where you are. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I guess they're not tied up, are they? Never mind. Ignore what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep making demands and berating him and doing my best of what I've seen in that city of how they treat them when they got mad.
Okay. He says, "Sorry, my lord." He says, "Sorry, but I am taking commands at a higher station than you. Even though you are obviously of noble birth, there's nothing I can do. I cannot give away that many of Varal's slaves."
Can I just say, I see her then?
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as she goes to put a thing over his mouth, I'm just saying this is my trigger.
Okay.
This is like, I want to set up a reaction to something that she's doing.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Alright. I am going to... I'm going to bane him.
Okay.
And the... yeah, I'm going to bane him and the lizard.
Okay.
Because then that will make him have to subtract on his rolls against whatever you're doing.
All right. Are you doing it? Are you giving up at this point?
I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it.
All right. So you are
Shot.
unseen.
Yep.
So you are going to roll a attack roll at advantage.
'Kay.
Because you are unseen. And yeah.
Okay, that is a 22.
All right. So you get the gag. You just go really quick, like a garrote, but just a little higher. and you get it into his mouth, and you can see he starts to struggle, and he kicks with his
Oh, the lizard.
feet, and the monitor lizard begins to trompe around.
This is
it's-
great.
It's
I was not expecting this. This is great, guys.
It's
Goodness.
it's a lizard. It's not moving very fast, like up, but lizards,
moving
but it's
erratically.
moving like shifting left to right.
Squiggly.
Yeah. And you did a Bane, so he's gonna roll a saving throw on that. He failed.
Yep. Yeah.
He failed his Bane.
And well, I did it on both because I can do.
Oh, and then on the lizard.
I can do up to 3.
What the lizard do to you?
The lizard's about
the
to attack
lizard
us.
passes.
Against 15.
Yeah, I got an 18.
Okay, cool.
A base.
Nice. What's his charisma modifier?
Very good.
10. So 0.
Okay. I guess a big giant lizard would have the charisma of intimidation.
Okay, so yeah, you guys, you basically able to take an action, and were able to take an action. You three can choose to do something at this point, or
Get out there and get him. Wrestle him. Wrestle him down.
I am not strong.
Wrestle him down.
I do not have the strength to climb that fast.
Stun him. Go do things. I don't know.
Alright.
I was just
I
kidding. You do whatever you want.
Vaguely
I'm
have
sorry.
a plan, but I have to read more on this spell.
So, since the lizard is starting to move around a little
Make
bit,
him think, what's his notice
I'm
here?
going to try and stun it.
Okay.
Yeah.
so you're gonna try to stun the monitor lizard.
Monitor lizard, yes.
Go for it.
Okay.
The monitor lizard starts speaking Elvish and blows up our slaves.
So you run up to the monitor lizard and roll an attack roll.
Gives the next natural 20.
It is going to be 20. Not
Okay,
nine.
so you do hit the monitor lizard.
Yep, and then for the stun, trying to see what the save is on that.
It needs to make a saving throw.
I have it on the.
Okay, it's rolling. Ooh, I might have got it.
You're also rolling high tonight. That's fun. All
It
high
is
rolls.
con. What do you roll?
Oh, base number 16 without pluses, so I'm pretty sure he.
Yeah, con is
Successful.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's a big meaty lizard.
Alright.
Abbott, what are you doing?
What's the range on those
What
necklaces?
did you roll? You rolled 16.
500 feet.
Well, that's the range on the command word.
For the record, Abbott, you
The
are the
command word
strongest among
affects
us.
all callers within 500 feet.
That's inspiring.
But the callers
we
themselves
all dumped.
only do
Strike
enough
everyone,
damage for the creature.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Liz, the
We-
callers
what's that?
themselves
What
only
did you
do
roll?
enough damage to kill
Oh,
the creature
I know I
with.
was successful.
There's
The
no like
16.
area of
Okay.
effect.
Plus
It's just a command
two,
word causes
probably
all
like a
callers
plus
within
two.
500
Okay.
feet.
I know, I was
So I
hoping
would
to
roll
get
my
them
second
away
attack then.
fast
Okay.
enough, but
So
Well, he's currently gagged, so if we can kill him before he gets
that one's not
ungagged.
gonna
I can only
hit.
move like
Mhm.
so much.
Bonus
feet.
action for.
Range attacks.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually use bonus action as flare below.
Maybe?
Yeah, I might just have to do that.
And so that is going to be 18, so that hits. So
See how close that was to a 1.
Okay, it failed that one.
okay, he's done.
You
And
get
then
a
it's
10 to
into-
stun
The
twice.
lizard is stunned?
That's
Yeah.
epic.
It's a key point per attack.
Man, that's awesome.
So
Yeah.
that just means it doesn't.
We're pouring everything we have into this
Yeah.
one little battle
Yep.
for
It's
6
fine.
slaves that
And
he
the
meant
dungeon's
to
coming
be
up.
flavor.
I'm going to.
But we're still only not even a day out of.
Yep.
Yeah, we still have a day where we're gonna have to rest. but-
crossbow.
You're gonna use your crossbow on the slaves.
Yes. If it goes bad.
Dark Prophet.
Shut up.
We'll embrace it.
Dark Prophet rises.
I liked you once.
Mark almost lost the monitor.
I'm gonna crossbow it. Hopefully not hit him and hit her instead for con.
You're crossbowing it. What is it?
The lizard?
The
dwarf?
The dwarf, yes.
The dwarf.
The
Okay.
one that can
And I am
speak.
currently behind.
Okay. Well, there's a chance that
No, it's fine.
Just don't critically fail.
How does a 19?
Yep.
19 feels pretty good.
It feels alright.
1d8 plus 1.
Feels like a crossbow bolt to the side. Well, it depends on how much you roll here, I guess.
I don't get any modifiers to it, do I?
Dex.
2, 3.
He has a hero's wound now, right in the shoulder,
Yeah.
but not enough to actually stop him from doing anything.
Okay.
And then I think as a bonus action, I'm gonna do my spiritual weapon.
Okay, so your spiritual weapon again.
Um,
Kind of in rounds, but kind of not. It's weird. Nothing? Go on.
that does a little bit.
Okay, so he's going to... He's not a real combatant. He's not like a melee guy.
Yeah.
He's got a whip, but he doesn't really have that much in the other ways and weapons and whatnot.
He has his station.
Yeah, he has
Yes.
his...
That's just his weapon and a special word. Show this guy
Is he
how the
gonna-
real world works.
Is it basically like I'm kind of grappling
So
him?
he's going to try to break out.
Okay.
And we're just going to use grapple rules.
'Kay.
And
Okay.
that's not good for you.
No, it's not.
You have a negative. You have to roll a d4 and subtract it because of Bane.
I don't think that matters on my natural 20.
It could. She could natural
See,
20.
See, natural 20. That's...
She could natural 20.
Did you natural 20? Natural 1? Close
No.
enough?
No, because if it was a nat 1, I could re-roll.
Oh.
Do I
That
get,
one, you'd be fine.
Can I?
You're giving it up, hoping that she'll have a natural
Sure.
20.
Or 1, so she can reroll it.
Well, you're
Well,
giving
she
that
has
up
a-
for a 1 in 20 chance.
5%?
Yeah.
It depends. How do you
It's
feel
actually a
about it?
7.5%.
Do you feel good about it? Do you feel blessed, as one would say?
7.5?
This
I
is
don't
gonna
know.
work,
I
it's
don't know.
fine.
Dark Prophet said he didn't like me anymore, so.
Alright. Time to pass.
Okay.
Time has passed.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
So he breaks out,
It would have been exactly the same roll anyway, so.
and
Thank you,
he
though.
speaks.
Are we rolling initiative? Or how are we handling this?
Yeah, I guess he assumes he's gonna die if
Mhm.
he's gonna go
Real
suicide.
question. What would have happened to his footing when the animal got stunned?
The animal just kind of
He's
stopped
mounted
moving.
to it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll a 50-50 because there's two options that he could do. He speaks in Elven. And you recognize these words.
Yep.
And over by the cart, you hear 6 pop, 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 pop. And then he stops resisting.
I stab him.
Stab him in the neck.
Yeah.
Well, we have a monitor lizard now.
And a whole bunch of gold for it. Yay!
So, after a short little bit, the monitor lizard begins to move again.
Animal handling. Just kidding. Just kidding.
And it seems to be startled, and it starts to basically shimmy away.
Can I try to? Whoa,
Are there like
girl.
reins?
Yeah, you can try to animal handling it. You're up there by the reins,
As I
so you can grant her advantage because she's got the reins.
okay.
That's a modified 20.
So you're up there, you grab the reins, you're in front, you're like, whoa girl, and the lizard kind of calms down and then sits still. The body of, with the shifting, the body of the dwarf kind of slumps off to the side.
I drag the body
And,
over
yeah.
to the
His
lizard.
whip's mine.
After looting it, I drag the body over to the lizard so we can eat it.
The lizard does go and chomp and chomp and kind of like it does that thing that lizards do where it grabs it and then it's grabs the body and then like
Because they don't chew.
because they don't really chew it. Yeah, so they
It's like
lifts
an
his
owl.
head up in the air.
Yeah,
and
it's
the
like
feet.
an owl eating a mouse.
Yes, exactly. Don't do that on stream anymore. That.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Moving on.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, here you are.
Bill, yeah.
6 bodies of slaves. It's a gruesome sight. You have a lizard that currently Mississippi is riding on top of and has the reins of. And you
Gideon wordlessly, which is
Feeling.
odd, starts going and gathering wood.
I'm standing.
You are. Let's see if there's any wood nearby.
Were we traveling through the
Mountains.
If there's not, there's not.
There is some sparse you can see off
nature.
Off to the side. I was just rolling to see how densely packed this
A
area
chance
is.
to roll survival.
Why don't we just let the lizard eat all of the corpses?
Say what?
Why don't we just let the lizard eat all of the corpses?
No.
Why not?
No, they deserve a better end than that guy. Besides, the lizard's probably full. I'm just saying that. Just I know.
Do you have nature?
Well,
Okay.
I mean, I have everything because I'm a bard. I have half of everything, so
Well, roll a nature check.
no. That's a 12.
So you know that lizards are cold-blooded creatures, and they eat based off of their needs. So if they move a lot, they need to eat a lot. If they move very slowly, they don't need to eat for long periods of time. So he probably is full and probably won't need to eat for a while, depending on how much you stress the beast. Anyway, so you start gathering wood, and it takes you a little while just because it's sparse in the area, but there are a few trees out there you see. You can go and
I have
hack down.
I have a whole kind of just a little simple ceremony that I go through as I burn their bodies to honor,
So he's doing this. Anybody helping, and what is everybody else doing?
At some point after this all happened, Aelrindel would have made some mention of, I thought we were sticking to a plan.
Gideon really doesn't say anything. He just keeps going about his business.
He kind of feels like garbage right now.
Absolutely, he does. Yep.
I'm convinced I was talking him down from that thing.
Other than the whip, did the dwarf have anything else of note?
Let's talk about the whip, actually.
Yeah, tell me about the whip.
So the whip, you look at the handle and has metal rings on it, and that has little flecks of blue in them.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're shards or crystals or dust or something slightly magical.
Do you have Arcana?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, dude.
Hmm.
What is it?
It's a whip.
Thank you. Can you look closer?
Okay.
Roll an Arcana.
Holy crap, that die likes you.
16 plus 5, 21.
Okay, so you're examining this, and you're like, they have worked into the metal on the little rings on the hilt of this or handle of the whip. Little tiny pieces or particles of that crystallized matter are worked into the metal, and you can see it. And you're wondering what this imparts upon the whip itself.
Yeah, I'd have relayed that. There's
Okay.
they've worked the gem into the metal.
Does Gideon or Abbott know how to identify magical things?
We could try, but Abbott's just standing there and like
She's
exactly where he was.
he's in shock.
Okay.
Like he's just like 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
Ahead, past, even past the cart. Like he just he's not
Yeah.
there.
He's in shock from the whole
He's
situation.
not handling this very well.
No.
So you can try.
Pat, pat.
Guys, I still have a spell I could learn.
Oh my god.
You want to learn a spell identify?
No,
Oh.
no, I'll figure that out later. maybe this moment kind of knocks him into his senses, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I can do that spell."
Silence.
Ceremony. Ceremony.
Identify.
That's a cleric spell, unfortunately.
is?
Old cleric only, I think.
Which one?
Identify.
Yeah.
I
until-
don't think
until
I
magical
don't think
secrets.
I don't think clerics can learn identify.
I think it's literally just like
Oh.
It's wizards, sorcerers, and bards.
Druids might. Do they?
No, I can do identify.
Yeah, I think it's on the bard list.
Wait, it
Yeah,
says
yeah, it is. I'm
it's
100%
in fact,
sure it's on the bard list.
not only can I do identify, but I actually do have identify. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Do you?
What in the world?
Will you
I see what I was
Will
doing.
you identify this whip for me?
He doesn't respond until he's done.
I can wait.
Okay. Like you kind of like, hey, Kitty.
I'll help.
Kitty.
I'll help.
Okay. You
I have
hear
very
him
small
murmuring
hands.
under his breath.
Yep.
Again, I don't think anyone else here speaks Abyssal, do they?
Nope.
Nope.
I took a pretty dark ritual and actually just kind of changed the words a little bit because I'm not sure what else to do right now. So.
So I don't have the rules for this whip with me, but I've given it to another group
Okay.
once before.
After he gets done, he sits down.
I can wait.
No, I remember what it does.
Okay.
Is
So-
ritual something that
So
I can't
Tech-
ritualize it unless
Yes, you
I
can.
have the.
Yeah, you can.
I can.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If
Okay.
you know the spell and it has the ritual tag, you can cast it as a ritual.
Okay, so that means I don't have to count against my spell slots.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay,
For the day, if you have it,
Yeah,
yeah.
I do.
Okay.
So I spend some time.
examining this. All right, so you can give it a name that you want to give it, right? That's the thing. You don't identify what it's called, but you do identify what the properties of it are.
It's called unjust tongue.
It's called Whippy.
So what it does mechanically, okay, is when you whip somebody and it does over a threshold of 50% damage. So it has to do the higher end of damage. It gives
Like
plus
on the roll.
on the damage roll.
Okay.
And our whip's just like a D4 though.
Yeah.
Aren't they pretty
Yeah,
weak?
so it's
right?
like yeah. So
Okay,
3 and 4.
3 and 4. If you roll 3 or 4 on the damage roll, it gives you a +2 to your athletics check
Oh, to hold on to them.
to the person that you're whipping.
Sure. Cool.
Does it require attunement?
No.
So it's if 3 or 4.
Yeah, if it rolls a 3 or 4, I think the one that I had actually went. The other group actually went up to D8. But anyways, it 3 or 4, then you get a +2 to athletics check. The person you deal damage to gets a +2 to athletics checks for the next X minutes.
Wait. The
Motivational.
person you do damage to
Yes.
It's
gets
motivation.
stronger.
Yes.
Wow. I thought you meant like you got +2 to holding on to him like he was doing. but-
Nope.
Okay. Yep. Yep. The unjust tongue.
Okay.
So there's going to be a point where you need to do an athletics check. You're like, let me whip you.
You got the best shot.
Okay.
Wow.
So after a short little while, the cairn, right? That's what it's called, or pyre.
Mm-hmm.
The pyre is burnt down. You've examined the item. You paid your honors to the dead.
It's all completely out of self pity.
And you
It's so selfish, but that's where he's at.
you look to the east, and you've killed a few hours on your day waiting for the pyre to burn, and you begin stepping to the east. What do you do with the lizard?
Take it with.
Oh yeah. No. Again, Jeff, as a player, loves the fact that this just happened because we have a mount now.
We have to feed that thing.
We have a mount. That's fine. That's fine.
They're omnivores.
It's all good.
What did you call that thing? Unjust tongue?
I'm just
I need to, I'll get you a item breakdown for that later. Okay,
we got him out because of Gideon's really bad idea.
yeah.
So
At the cost of some lives, though. Alright.
I was gonna say I'd probably
Oh,
if Gideon looks at all excited about having the mount.
Oh no,
I'd have-
no, this is Jeff.
Okay.
Gideon is exactly the way I've said it. He is.
Okay.
Gideon has had a roller coaster of a day. He freed a guy, and then 6 more died, and he's like, I can't do anything right. That's what's going on in his head right now. He's just like, literally, every time I try to do something good, this kind of crap happens.
Alright, so what we're going to do is you guys end up resting, and the mountains are quiet. We'll say that you do your normal rotation. I don't really care too much about tonight because this is well within this Redmir's sphere of influence. It's not, there's not much in the way of dangerous creatures in the immediate vicinity.
Do we encounter any beheaded slaves?
No.
Okay.
No. You're luckily enough you were way out in the middle of nowhere. There were no slaves nearby whatsoever. Oh, who had the collar?
That
we
blew
tossed
up.
it
Yeah,
out.
he threw it up and blew it up.
Okay.
Threw
Yeah.
it up.
That was
Remember
already
you made me
gone.
roll
That's right.
percentage
To
to see if there was anyone nearby.
To see if there's anybody nearby, because it's dangerous. It's dangerous to say those words.
On my character's watch, you would have used the mortar pestle and rock to scratch whatever itch he had for that stressful day.
All right. I would like.
Oh, it bothered you. That's good to know. No, I'm just kidding. If you, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Gideon doesn't even care that
All
you're
right.
there.
You can put down that the next day you have 2 extra sorcerer points.
Yay. How long does one of those rocks last anyway? Did we figure that one out?
You don't know.
Okay.
You don't know how long the effects of the before you start feeling withdrawal symptoms or the need.
No, I'm asking if he just killed the whole rock that night.
Oh,
How much did you have to use to
Yeah.
get to his high?
Oh, how much of that rock is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I?
That rock was 2 goes.
Okay,
So
Oh.
you have
One more.
one more, and it's powdered form already.
Yep.
How often does he feel the need to do it? Is that his call?
I'm
or-
assuming daily.
We haven't run across it
So
yet.
he's just doing it based on character.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
like that. I like
Do you do that out in the open? That's important
He's
because
not ashamed.
during your shift or
Yeah,
during
During the shift,
'Cause I-
they know what I'm.
I don't know if any of them have actually seen the drug use before.
That one has.
So what I'll do is I want you guys to roll a chance that you you 3 had
Okay.
woken up in
Percentage dice, or
and I'm just gonna say roll a d20 on an 18 or higher. You were witness.
18.
No, okay,
Dang it, of course.
good. But you did see that. You see the blue light that comes from his
You said 18 or higher, right?
18 or
Yeah.
higher.
I rolled an 18.
Oh,
I was like, of course I did.
I
Of course I did.
Of course, you were the one.
Of course, Gideon is the one to see
Okay,
this.
okay. What is this? Oh, it's day-night cycle. Okay, a day-night cycle.
Yes.
And did I need to make a roll to wake up, or?
Yeah. Well, no. Yes, whether or not he's doing it tonight, but you've already seen this, so
Yeah.
it's not a. So yeah, you're feeling uneasy about the yesterday,
Oh yeah, sleep.
You're
aids,
restless.
Absolutely.
right? And you hear some grinding, and you look out, and you see him. He's just using a mortar pestle, and then you see him kind of scoop up half of it, put it on the edge of the border, right? And then immediately afterwards, he's got glowing blue eyes, glowing blue out of his nostrils, out of his mouth, and he just sits back. And he's just.
Do I see Gideon? Because if he's in a good mood, he might.
Well, actually, can I just say, like, if I saw, based on Gideon's mood right now, like, he kind of wakes up and just kind of lays there and watches.
Oh,
but
so he's not even. Yeah.
when he goes blue,
yeah.
like, then he kind of stirs. At that moment, that's when he's going to stir and he's going to kind of sit up.
Okay. You're so out of it with the high. You can. When you do this, you can see the magical kind of like the magic that's in the air, kind of moving around.
The sky just went Van Gogh.
The sky completely went Van Gogh. Little streaks of oranges, reds, blues, and everything throughout. And it's even better out here than it was in the tavern
because there's stars.
You're out here in nature and. Surrounded by basically the magical land, it's like there's like an aurora borealis going on in the sky. It's beautiful and visual, and you can just reach up and you're like, just touch the magic.
We're so screwed if something comes
you
in.
can feel yourself. You can feel yourself just kind of like there's a little string of pink magic in the air. You can just grab it and just move it.
Turns into a butterfly. Yeah. Our butterfly.
Anyway, so you're seeing,
you're seeing just here.
But
okay.
with his kind of the glowing blue eyes and nostrils and mouth.
Can I? Okay, so here's how I want to decide this. I'm going to do a wisdom saving throw against your charisma. How good are you making this look right now? So I want you to roll based on your charisma. I'm going to roll based on my wisdom.
You roll performance.
Performance?
Well, then I should do...
Insight?
Yeah. Okay. Because if I lose, you're making it look too good, and I'm going to be curious.
Insight. Performance and insight. That's that.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, I already rolled it.
Already rolled it. Oh, jeez. This dice is on fire. That's 24.
Oh, it's like a 9.
Okay.
So you know better.
To you, you see he's got drool kind of coming out the side of his mouth. He's sitting in a weird posture, like
that can't be comfortable.
That doesn't look comfortable. His eyes are extra wide, and one thing you notice, even though he's looking at whatever this is,
he's reaching up trying to
grab things. He doesn't see you at all.
Okay.
Like he's completely not.
Okay, I'm going to lay back down, but then I'm gonna start messing with him. Okay, so
all right. So one of the things you do notice when you're doing this and whatnot is when you do this, it's also like you get detect magic or whatever, but kind of amplified. So those gems that everybody have are completely blasting with colors and swirling around. You can tell that whip has kind of like this aura and whatnot through the tents, and yeah, so it's a colorful array, and to you it looks like instead of tents and whatnot, it's like a colorful flower field of magical items and gems.
The
flower
world
field
is magic. What do you have? A flower.
A flower.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Cheater.
Too engrossed in him describing.
Yeah, he's the one who said it.
Yeah.
Describing your high.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to just
I'm not gonna hand out any more inspiration for now, so we're gonna stop with the high.
I'm gonna do some sparks. Prestidigitation can do some sparks. I already have one.
Okay.
I have a star in front of me as one of my other dice. Like literally,
Well,
this
don't
is what I
tell
have as
him.
mine. But I already have one, so I can't.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of just put kind of where his hands are reaching, just kind of in that area, just kind of.
So you can't see this, but to you it's like fireworks.
Where his hands are reaching.
So it's like fireworks exploding all around you.
Well,
And
I've
you
seen
can
people hide before.
and
Absolutely.
and you can even see the magic coming from which a vague outline of Gideon's hand, the kind of going off and bursting in the air right in front of you.
So the little sparks to him though are
Because
these are intense,
because
aren't
he sees the sparks, which
Yeah.
are fine, but the magic that are making the sparks happen is what really strikes
they?
him.
Oh, but it's magical sparks though. So would they also be like really intense?
That's what he's saying. They're like
Okay.
fireworks.
That's right. Yeah. So those are extreme, and it's not the actual spark itself. It's the magic that surrounds the sparks that are like.
Do you get mad or tell me to do it again? That was awesome.
He's completely
Well,
oblivious to you.
Well,
But as far as I know,
Vague outline of a hand.
out
It's
of
just
in
that's
the midst of
like-
all this,
Like
there's this no talent flower shooting fireworks in the sky.
right?
All right. So
Well, then I wanted to because I can make little things like images appear.
yeah.
I was gonna like make like a happy face and then turn it into a really evil looking face. And I'm just kind of curious what kind of trip he's having right now.
I just wanted to know when dawn was gonna be. That's when Rabbit gets up.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I'm not gonna sleep
fast
after. We're gonna have fun with this.
So
you can fast forward this.
yeah,
I'm just
we'll-
having fun.
we'll
with
fast
it.
forward because we're gonna get back to the drug use at some point.
At some point.
Again, though, I want to know: did he like that? Did he?
Um,
was he having fun that there was more things, or was he
Probably.
It's all engaging, even though there's a scary face. That doesn't mean
It's
anything.
fascinating.
To him. It's all fascinating. There to him, even though you made this image of, say, it looked like.
It'd be like this big. I can't make him really big.
Well, even so, if you made like Pennywise from It, right? The scary, crazy face, whatnot. He's seeing it as more of a Van Gogh painting with the constant swirling of colors and whatnot.
Like
He's-
Scream?
what you're
Yeah.
doing, what
Yeah.
you're doing, doesn't translate
Sure.
exactly to what he sees.
That's fine. I was
He-
just-
he
again,
sees the magic surrounding the.
I had
as
no
well.
point. I wasn't trying to.
Anyways.
accomplish anything. I just was curious what kind of.
Oh yeah, everything was just awesome.
So next day, you guys continue traveling to the east, and you're gonna make it to the gold mine today. Oh, you want at dawn? What's happening at dawn?
So he would have gotten up and to the ash pile. Like he woke up at dawn, and I hope it's after that because he doesn't want to see him. Then.
Yeah.
He would have gone up to the pile of ash that was the bodies,
Mm-hmm.
and
I thought we traveled from that.
he would have, while he was doing his like morning meditations or prayers or whatever, he would have asked Lathander to guide them to their resting places, and then asked for punishment of some sort for this failure.
So you, one of the things that you
We have a new whip.
are doing is probably in the morning you also read upon the disc that you got that has Lathander's writing. Yeah, it's hard to decipher. There's a lot to it. It seems to be endless because every time you read, it doesn't cycle upon itself. It just you do find words of comfort in the discs. In the disc. Yeah, you don't feel like it's not your fault.
No, it's definitely mine.
Whoops, Gideon's.
Couldn't stick to a plan.
Okay, but you do, and you guys see the next morning that when you guys are ready to go, Abbott's hands are covered in ash.
No comment.
You do, dude.
So you guys make your way to the east, and you do arrive to the mining compound. So as you get closer, you start hearing kind of a weird whining noise, and followed by clunks, kind of off in the kind of like round the bend or whatnot. But it sounds distant. But as you get closer, you see that there are two of these gigantic war machines kind of patrolling around an iron fenced compound built into the side of a mountain. These gigantic machines are two-legged. They're probably half the size. We're calling them ATSTs for now.
Yeah.
They're probably half the size of the larger ones you've seen before, and they are kind of slowly moving around the area here. And as you look into the compound, you can see that there are many dwarves with their black skin and silvered and red hair, kind of stepping along the palisade. And there are dwarves kind of at the gate, so to speak. The gate itself is large and massive, and the iron tracks go right up through the gate.
Quick question. What did we do with that cart of gold?
It was ore.
Or
Yeah.
We kinda just left it.
Ore.
we just left it? Okay.
And if anyone asks, we found this guy wandering around.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was
And,
around the cart. There was nobody around.
And we saw what we left behind. We came upon it like that. Because if I were to say that, it wouldn't matter. But you have to be able to sell
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And you should probably be writing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're now riding atop the
Yep.
gigantic monitor lizard. Anybody riding up with you? There's room for probably
One other person or two little people.
I would say there would have to be one person on the ground.
Oh, I'll walk.
I'll walk.
Oh,
I'm not interested in
I
walking.
was gonna say the only other person that Aelrindel would have suggested be up there would be the only other one that wouldn't have to wear a collar in this area.
Yeah. So Abbott, do you want to walk up or do you want to ride on the monitor lizard? It doesn't walk very fast, by the way. In its natural gait, it is matching basically your walking speed. So it's not like you're having to keep up.
No, we're just
For
exerting
the
less
sake of
effort.
selling this, I'll
I got you a stinking lizard to ride.
Yeah.
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
So
Oh, I love it.
All it costs was 6 lives.
7.
Oh.
So you
Six
guys
lives
ride
right
up to the
there.
gate, and you can hear some shouting in Dwarvish coming from inside. Anybody understand Dwarvish?
No,
I might.
Yes.
Give me 1 second.
I picked literally the worst.
So
one.
you
No, I
really
don't.
Bard no. Okay. So
Elvish and
you
Missile.
both understand. There's an elf coming. Open the gate! Open the gate! In Dwarvish, getting shouted, and then shortly afterwards, the iron gate slowly creeping open, and you can hear the whine of gears kind of coming from the inside. The gate itself seemingly unmanned, but pushed by some mechanical means. As you then kind of move your way in through the gates, the guards kind of they tip their heads to you, Aelrindel, and you guys move in to the compound. So the compound itself is rather large. You can see that there is a smithy off to one side, and when I say a smithy, we're talking multiple forges in a large exterior building with mostly just rope. Industrial smithy, yes. You can see that there are 2 bunkhouses on the left side, and then there is a weird glassed and iron-bound like building off to kind of like the northwest that you would pass as you're kind of coming in. And it strikes you as weird, and you see things fluttering around inside of it. It stands probably 50 feet tall, and it's taller than it is around. and it's got a domed top to it, and you can see like little red things, probably the size of this, kind of fluttering around within there.
Gideon wants to break it.
Don't break the aviary.
What else is out here?
Probably full of robins.
There is also
No, they're butterflies.
Robins in this world.
there's also looks like to be a few dwarvish men sparring off, and walking along with the dwarvish men are mechanical human-like things.
Like the things that we saw in town, or
Mhm.
okay.
Very similar to those. And but you are let in, and nobody seems to approach you. And just off to the east, you see that there is a large kind of opening up into the mountain, and you can see that there are trails going up the side of the mountain with other kind of different areas where people can get into, like other smaller caves. Each of these have tracks that kind of wind down the side of the mountain and connect up with this larger track that leads out of the city.
I want to see us get the monitor lizard into a big minecart and ride. Just cause. Just want to see it happen.
Do I see something that looks like kind of a foreman's shed? Or I'm assuming this is basically like the mining barracks area.
Yeah, so it's a barracks, smithy, large entrance to the mine, and then that weird glass building that's round with the dome top.
That's interesting.
I want to break it.
Can we see what it is before we break it?
No, I'm just saying what I want.
When I
I'm
say
not saying I'm
by the way,
doing
when
it.
I say the entrance to the mine is large, I'm saying it's like 40 feet wide, probably just as tall.
Okay.
Big cave.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go watch the guy spar. Is that cool?
I'm gonna. Yeah, let's check out that glass thing, 'cause that sounds neat.
Okay. Do you get off your lizard?
Yep.
Okay.
Is there like some kind of stable thing with other lizards or creatures?
Okay. So when you get off, one of the dwarves come over and grabs the reins and bows to you, and then proceeds to lead it into the mine.
Okay.
And I'm just riding it in.
Yeah.
You're riding it in?
I
She
haven't
never
gotten off
got
it yet.
Okay, well then, waiting for you to get off, then would lead it into the mine. I forgot you were on it.
The valet didn't wait for the passenger to get out.
I'm just sitting there like, oh, yeah.
Excellent valet services.
Yes.
I mean, this is fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
So,
No, I'll get off after he gets off.
Okay. What did you want to do?
I'm just gonna watch the guy spar.
Okay.
I do have a plan.
Of course he does.
last one worked so well.
I want to listen to him talk enough because I have that
Mimicry.
trait
Mhm.
that
Actor.
allows me to
Yeah, do you know Dorish?
no. But I can still
Yeah,
I can still get there.
With the one exception is not speak the language.
Yeah.
So-
but I can talk in their voice.
Yeah, you can talk.
I
to
wanna-
them.
With a dwarvish accent.
Over time,
It's like speaking a French accent
Yeah.
without knowing.
after I kind of
I'll
figure
make it
out,
fromage.
I want to just stand there and kind of do that thing where like I just egg the other one on because I make them think they're saying really terrible things to one another.
Mhm.
I'm just in a bad mood, and
Yeah.
this is the closest thing I can think of to starting a fire in here that I can,
Yep.
subtly just kind of just egg them on a little bit and whisper in their ear,
Be like, you're all crap.
I mean, I'm heading
Nice
towards the
miss,
glass,
dude.
the glass dome
Yeah,
funkiness.
All right. Where do you go?
I'll
They're going to the glass dome.
go over to the. I'll go with you.
I'm just watching.
I would have been like. Go that way.
Gideon shouldn't be left alone.
I will
No,
also
you
go
shouldn't
watch
either stab it.
to see. I want to
Don't
see what
burn
their
this
form
place
is
to
like.
the
when they're
ground.
doing stuff.
So you three are watching the fighting, and you two are going over to the glass dome.
Yep.
So you guys make your way over to the glass dome, and you can see into the glass dome. There is various different rock outcroppings and little tiny caves inside of it. It's like a little terrarium. Yeah, you can see through the glass front door that there is an airlock, so to speak, where there's a glass door, and then probably 20 feet, and then another glass door. And then there is a dwarven woman sitting at basically behind a counter there and marking down something with quill and ink. Do you proceed inside of the first set?
She's outside?
Or she's in the airlock, basically.
Yeah, I'll go into the first set and figure out what.
So
I follow.
So, when you look up, you're then kind of like into this. You go into this glass airlock, and there's a glass ceiling here that kind of leads up into the area with the terrarium and whatnot. And you can see movement. I want you guys to roll perception checks.
They get attacked and die.
Probably.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not hiding that I'm doing this.
18.
What do you
I'll
got?
tell you quite often.
Since it's the new Dan, I want to make it interesting. I'm actually going to burn my tides already.
Okay.
One better. 12.
Just
So
neutral.
you swear you see flashes of red move
Okay.
up there. What you see is what you thought was the part of the stone outcropping. It turns red for a moment, and you can see this outline of a little creature that stands probably about this tall, with a little long nose that stands out about a foot, has little wings on it, and little tiny horns.
In D&D terms, imps.
Um,
No. Oh, no,
it's
they're the...
Sturges.
No.
No.
Elemental?
Methods?
Ooh, I like method. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was thinking.
In
Okay.
D&D
It's an
terms,
elemental
Method.
method.
Earth method, stone method, something.
yeah,
like
and then it shifts around, and then it seems to blend in with the rock side again. So she looks up as you kind of come up here, and you're kind of glancing around, kind of getting, and she says, "Are you checking what out today?"
One what?
The answer is always yes. When you're
Yes
given
might
the
involve
option.
money.
I'm not there. I'm just saying.
She says a canary. For
Josh, I love you so much.
You take it in, and then if the case starts to like shift and it's about to bury you. No, it's methane, isn't it?
Yeah, it's,
If it
to
starts to
detect
spark,
methane.
if
leave.
it dies, get out.
No,
my
I thought it was
gosh.
if it goes silent. Never mind. Anyways,
So she says, a canary for the mines.
Sure.
And she says, okay. She stands up and she says, just one moment. And if you'll sign your name here, she takes a piece of paper that's on the desk and kind of pushes it in your direction and points to the quilt. And then she steps into through the glass door into the actual terrarium yourself.
I signed
You're-
Gideon's name.
You're citing Gideon's name.
I was gonna say, this is your chance to sign your name with as many titles as you want. Why would you sign my name?
I'm gonna say that you're.
So they don't come after me.
You don't have to
when
sign
it dies.
names. You're not looking down. You're watching this as she pulls out this weird contraption, looks up in the air, waits for a little bit, and then pulls the trigger, and you hear kind of like a click and a bang, and as this net kind of comes out and grabs onto something
Where
that's
did it
now
get a
red,
nose?
and she's pulling it forward, and then she grabs a small cage and just shoves it in and locks the door, and then she brings out this canary in this
Okay.
little dome rounded cage.
I just hear like,
And it's struggling around in there at first, but then quickly.
Is it saying anything in its own little language?
Do you know
I know primordial.
do you know Abyssal?
No.
Gideon does eventually, but he's not there right now, so
It's really helping primordial incoming.
I can't wait to have a conversation.
Oh, good. We're gonna walk up with a cussing bird.
Gideon digs it.
Okay.
Especially
So
if you get these guys to
she
actually
looks over,
bloodshed.
she sees your signature, she says, there you go.
Yep. Thank you, and I leave.
So you grab the canary.
Yeah.
It's got a small chain, then the actual cage itself, and it's
Here you go.
in there, and you can see it's got the cage itself. It can reach its hand out, and every once in a while you look over and it's like it's just a rock. I am carrying a cage with a rock in it, but then when it's moving around and whatnot, it's got the red toned skin with little wings and a little tiny
Cool.
tail and whatnot, and,
I love
and
it.
it's
I love it.
it's reaching out of the cage.
I immediately handed it off to the slave.
So you have this cage that's
It's like half
almost
her
the size of you.
And she's like,
No, it's fine.
Gotta keep up appearances.
I love it.
This is fine. Everything's fine.
So you exit the dome. Then you guys look over and you see them carrying this cage
With a rock.
with a rock inside of it.
Keep watching.
Do I get the guys to actually get really mad at each other and start actually trying to hack at each other?
Roll a performance.
By the way, I'm translating what he wants to say into Dwarvish so he knows how to say it for me.
I'm openly doing this on the side while we just stand there and watch.
What'd you get?
Oh, I got a 26.
There's a point where they're using large hammers and metal shields and whatnot, and they're clanking up against each other. And there's a point where the one gets so frustrated he takes his hammer and smashes the teeth out of the other guy. And all sparring has since stopped, and this one is down on the ground. He's spitting out blood and
Oh, that's when I
His
really start doing my magic. Like it's at that point.
and at that point things are starting to like no sparring's happening, and everybody's kind of like what are you doing? Who are you? Why is a slave out here intimidating anybody? And they're starting to
No, I'm just standing up to the side. I can do this quietly in their ear for 120 feet. I'm
Oh.
far away just watching,
Magic.
and all I'm doing
well,
is...
they're looking around and they're gonna say somebody's using magic somewhere.
I'll just kind of walk away.
Okay.
I'll snuggle up real close to my master. Really.
Anyways,
fast.
so you guys,
Gideon heal.
the five of you
Greatest smut.
get back together.
I feel so much better right now. Gideon is like elated. He just.
And so the five of you back together, and they're carrying this this cage. And
She wanted a pet rock.
Okay, that's
It's a canary.
cool. I can.
Keep watching.
yeah, it shifts around in the cage, and it you can see it turn and
Does it say anything?
and it's some sort of weird camouflage that it does. And
Does it speak?
Does it say anything?
no,
You can totally hold on to that till the opportune moment. Cool.
Okay.
So did you guys find out where angry half elf went?
No.
Well, what are you doing in there?
He checked out a canary, and that's all he did.
What? Well, what do we hear?
He's in the mines.
Have you ever traversed mines before? Do you know where? Could you? Gideon kind of goes.
So-
do you want to find someone who can be helpful?
Yes, there will be someone in the mine
Yeah. And
who will be able to point us in a direction.
we're not technically in the mine yet. What? This is what now? We are.
This is the mining camp.
And so we're gonna go deeper in the mine where there's less people and find help.
No, in the
You're-
opening of the mine where
you
there
are-
are people.
You're brilliant, dude. I'm just you're getting
Is
a
there
really
is
snarky
there like
side.
visibly any sort of foreman or anybody in charge?
I mean, that's
Not
what
out
I
here.
would've been-
Somebody walking around the clipboard.
not out here.
Okay. So
Gideon will not let it rest.
Yeah.
That this genius move of going in and getting
I'm going
the
to
canary
hand
was the
you
plan.
the canary, Gideon.
I'll take that for you, dear.
Great.
I'm really nice to you,
I'd-
really sweet to you.
So this is what we're gonna do. You guys are going to be stepping into the large mine entrance, and then we're going to take a short 10-minute break, and we'll be right back after our break, and then we'll find out what's in the mine, where the important people are.
Yes.
But we'll be back in 10 minutes. Welcome back. So here we are. The group is now entering into the Dwarvish mines. And they are carrying with them, Gideon is carrying a small iron cage.
Canary.
With a canary in it. And the canary is in it.
It's not trying to reach in and like.
Very interesting creature. Yeah, it's red, has wings, can camouflage on itself.
I'm not very strong, so I have to hold this cage like 2 inches.
No. It'll take some time to, or not some. It's wearing to carry it with one arm, but you can also just carry it at your side.
Okay.
It's kind of like holding.
It's a gym bag.
It's kind of like holding a bucket full of water. You know, you can do it. It's not easy, but
carry it on my back like this.
Every once in a while, you're like, I gotta switch arms.
Okay.
I could whip you, make the.
So as you're going,
easier.
as you're going into the mines, you can see that there's small out kind of caves or shafts that are set off onto each side, intermittently kind of poking out. So there's just many different ways to go, and you're still following the large set of tracks going through here. Eventually, you do see that there's carved into the mountainside. There is stables of sorts, and then you see off to the right there's another kind of barracks. Interesting sight as you kind of go up to the left. There's a lot of these mechanical men that are all kind of curled up, kind of hitched onto the wall. I'm thinking Star Wars, the Phantom Menace with the little droids.
They're recharging.
Yeah, and you continue down, and then it eventually narrows, and then there's a sign that you can read in Dwarvish as you're kind of going along. And I can't read it.
I can't read it.
I can read it. So, can I just ask again, just for my sake and other players watching? So, the Warforged exist in this, then? Is that what you're describing?
They would use the stats of Warforged. Warforged has one thing that's different than these. Is Warforged has kind of like almost fleshiness to it. These are more like what you would like think of a classic like clockwork, where you can see through. There's no fleshy bits to it. Sure. You can see through. You can see the spinning gears and whatnot. That's all kind of in. So they're more clockwork constructs, but the general everyday one of these would use basically Warforged style stats. So anyways, there's a sign pointing, and it says offices, and points down kind of in the direction you're heading, and then it also points and says main mine shaft also as well.
In the same direction?
In the same direction. You guys wind up, and then you end up, it's kind of narrows down, and then the large tracks kind of end here with a lot of large of those mine carts, and you see that there's chutes kind of coming down from the shafts that are, or the mine levels that are above, and every once in a while there's little bits of rocks that kind of fall down into these large mine carts. But it narrows down here, and you find yourselves basically in the mines proper. However, you're in the office area of the mines.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna We're
You
gonna
want me to-
go, and I got to
Mississippi gets excited about an office.
No, I get excited about getting to do maps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yay, paperwork.
paperwork.
Woo, bureaucracy.
No, definitely not. No,
Just
it's,
say,
it's
yeah.
Emily getting excited about maps. Should I start like this way and work this way?
You can choose whatever direction you want, but this is going to be in a corner,
Okay.
like so.
Okay. Is your map oriented portrait or landscape?
Landscape.
Okay.
My
So,
first roll was a
so
1.
this would be if you're gonna go the whole
Okay.
page.
I see. Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Great.
Hold on, before you do that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Uh huh.
No, stick it into the other corner.
What other corner?
There we go, like that.
Oh, okay. Okay. I get it. I hope.
Yeah, I hope too. Okay.
Okay.
But here you are in here. You come up to a T, and you can see that there is kind of a band kind of going forward and a
And there's doors to the
little
left
purple
and right.
haze. There's doors to the left and right. The door to the left says master,
It's not ominous at all.
and the door to the right says mess hall.
It would have been worse if that was going to be master and slaves.
Nice try.
Okay, and so that's where you're at. You guys can kind of choose, and then you can go kind of straight if you so wish. I'm just getting myself oriented here.
We'll go.
So
And is this written in
straight
Dwarvish?
Straight
Yeah,
is
it
the,
is
purple
written in
haze,
Dwarvish.
right?
Hmm?
Straight is a purple haze, right?
Yeah, straight is a purple haze. On your map, it's actually there already, but
I see.
I'm going to go to the door that says master.
okay. So
Is that to the left or to the right? Is master?
to your left.
Okay.
So you open up the door and you see a large dwarvish man sitting behind a desk. So as you open up the door, he's sitting on a desk to the right. He looks up and he sees you, Aelrindel, and he says, "Ah, this is a dangerous time for you to be visiting the mines, my lord."
Why?
He says, "Because of the mushroom men and their nefarious deeds. It has made it very, very dangerous."
I'm not afraid of them. Just an annoyance.
He says, "Why do you visit us? This is a little unusual."
I'm blanking on what's his name's name. Varela sent me to do your job and make sure that the gold starts coming uninterrupted again.
He says, I do apologize for the disruptions, but we currently cannot dig any deeper. The mushroom men have it completely on lockdown, and the mines above us, well, we are tapping the last of the gold and making it, we're making it very unstable up there. It's dangerous work, mining is, and I feel that we're coming into an impasse. The mushroom men have basically put us at a complete standstill. In the next few months, there will be no gold coming out of these mines.
I'm looking for information, not excuses.
He says,
Yeah.
"Sorry, my lord. What information do you speak?"
All I need to know is, where are these mushroom people? Where is this impasse?
He says, "You are on the deepest level of the mine. We started our way up. We started at the tip and have worked our way down. And this is where they are. Just beyond here, beyond into the actual mine proper, they are there, and you will find them. However, it is dangerous, and I don't recommend you going there. I got this all figured out. There we go.
So there was we were supposed to be accompanied by a half elf, and he got
Airs.
too excited, and
Yes, he had the thirst, and he was here last night, and he made his way down, and I know for a fact that he slew many on his way. He has not returned though, although lately about half haven't returned. I am missing men down there, and he is just adding to that number.
I'd like to go down into this area, and I'm basically going to ask him the directions on how to get to basically where most people encounter the mushroom men.
He says, just follow the cave. We have set up a checkpoint next to our forge, just not 200 feet from here. Beyond that is where they reside, and they are strewn all throughout our tunnels.
I'm going to request, basically lantern, mining hat. I'm going to basically heavily imply my slaves can't see worth anything in the mines. I need them to be able to see if they're to be of
He
use
says,
to me.
Sir, you do not need. We have lit this place with your magics. It's well within the use. They will be able to see. Although he looks over and he says, although your little ugly slaves, they do look like they have eyes that don't work very well. Perhaps you need new ones.
Well,
I've got a lot of
After-
things that I can
Better
suggest that he
not.
might perhaps need.
He better not be implying like me. I am
No, you're not a slave.
Oh, you know what? Gosh dang it! I've had this thought. I didn't want to interrupt you before.
What's up?
If I notice that they're treating her differently because she doesn't look like a thing, like, I would try to get out of disguise and just walk around human.
to be fair, they've been treating her well because she's got Lathander stuff and she's
that's
a priest.
The only reason.
Mm-hmm.
She's useful.
I am not an accessory. I am just useful.
Perhaps an employee.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, because you don't have the station of, because you don't look like any of them, you're Lathander, but you're also like this unknown, and so they're like, they don't know where to put you, so don't really put you anywhere.
I mean, they knew where to put these two.
Yeah, but again, I'm human.
To be fair, we didn't exactly put on any airs that we were anything other than what people assume us to be. So,
Well done.
Well, I mean, I figured we were operating under the fact that, I've been maintaining a disguise.
I thought you were still staining your skin.
We
Say
were
what?
at some point.
Staining your skin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, again, though, like, at this point, it's like, Gideon's like, I mean, why do this anymore?
And I
Like,
do look very ugly because I have the tattoos and the
Yeah.
blowy eyes, so I don't exactly look like what humans look like.
Mhm.
So I mean, people aren't like waiting in line to shake my hand, but they're not like, because of what I'm wearing
Yeah, but
and
also-
my station, they're not like shooing me away.
well, let me borrow the Lathander thing. I can heal people like anyone else.
Do you want to be a cleric of Lathander now? I
acolyte.
can. I have like. I'm pretty sure I can make some extra like fashion some extra
Essence.
things
I'm just saying, we don't have to deal with this now.
later.
But if we're going to go back to stupid
Redmere?
city place, I'm going to stop staining my skin
Talking about
and just, like,
Yeah.
just go under this ruse of whatever.
Hey,
I
you
mean, if
can
I got to
blame your
convert...
ugliness on a new ritual of Lathander.
Okay, let's get back on task.
Anyway.
Sorry,
So-
I was just curious.
It's a good.
Okay.
So we got the directions.
We got the directions. 200 feet ahead is the checkpoint. Erden was seen here last night, slew many mushroom men. He hasn't been back yet. Also,
Let's go kill him.
I'm assuming this guy's the foreman.
Mm-hmm.
Master. Mine master.
Yeah.
And then he's also missing a bunch of men.
Mhm.
Implying that they're dead or implying that they could yet be recovered?
He didn't really imply either way.
So it's not, like, does he have a sense of finality, like he's never gonna get them back? Like, oh, they're as good as dead?
Roll an insight.
Cool, I'm good at that. That is 19.
Yeah, he's resigned to the fact that they're gone.
Okay.
Well, ask if there's any more relevant, if he can be useful at all anymore. Basically, just pompous it up. I'm here to do your job because you couldn't do it.
Can we leave
He
now?
says, "Well, I see that you grabbed your canary. That's good." He says, "Avoid the purple fog."
Is this the same
What's
purple
that
fog
do?
that we saw in the trail of that displacer beast?
We haven't
The
encountered the
panther?
purple fog yet.
We've encountered some purple mist.
Yeah, but like not in the mines.
Yeah.
So
We're not
do you
seeing
ask
any
that?
of this yet?
Are you
No.
asking about the?
No, I'm sorry. Did you describe that we were seeing that like remnants of this a little bit?
So back when you fought the displacer beast, right?
No, I meant in the cave.
In the
Have
cave.
you-
Not
we
yet.
haven't seen this
No,
yet.
we
Then I'm not
saw-
going to ask about this
Yeah.
until later.
Yeah, we saw
So-
a purple glow.
I'm gonna ask him to elaborate on the purple mist anyway.
He says, "Well, it's been a problem that that's for the last couple of weeks. We don't know exactly where it's coming from, but it's toxic. You can breathe in small amounts, but I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't recommend much more than that. Your canary will speak up when you are approaching the mist."
What are the symptoms?
He says, lethargy. If you breathe too much in, paralyzation and death.
I think we got all the information we'll need. You've been less than useless.
More than useless?
Whichever way it works.
Probably
I'm just
both.
gonna roll with it. He's
Either?
committed to, doesn't matter if he said it wrong.
He's committed to kissing your butt,
Mhm.
no matter what.
Exactly.
He'll put up
It's-
with whatever amount of abuse.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Maybe
we're
get the dwarves
going.
to rebel.
I don't doubt it.
Doubt it.
They don't seem to be interested.
Okay.
They're enjoying
They're,
their
they're more of an HR issue.
You just need a couple good.
All right.
Good.
He says, "Very well, my lord. If you are lost in the mines, I will try to send my men to go find you. Your life is more valuable than theirs."
How
Glad-
incredibly generous.
Yes. Well, I hope you do more than try.
He says, "Sorry, I misspoke. We will find you."
Don't make promises you can't guarantee. Just,
No,
just he doesn't get to say anything good.
No. No, I'm good. We're gonna head out from there.
Okay.
So, we're gonna go where he said the mine
What else is
entrance.
around besides the thing?
There's
There's
a
a
mess
mess
hall.
hall.
Yep.
Just take a peek.
I mean,
I'll take a peek.
Sure. So across the way is a small little, basically a place to eat. It looks like it's like an area where people kind of also prep themselves to get ready to go into the mines. There's gear and whatnot kind of set up all
What kind of
around.
gear?
Climbing kits,
I have one of those.
yeah, picks, helmets, and like little feet with little like little claws on them, like that you put onto your boots and
Climate
whatnot.
spikes.
Yeah,
Or
that
like
kind,
ice picks.
that's that kind of thing.
Does it look like
Yeah.
and just anyone can go over and just grab it? Put it on? Are we talking about like a storeroom, or is like these are their personal belongings?
They're like set on the table, and there's nobody else around.
Should we get some stuff?
I'm fine. Maybe grab some rope.
Yeah, there's rope.
I'll get him to put on a helmet.
I'm gonna put on. A helmet.
I'll put on those climbing. Or I'm not gonna put them on yet, but I'm gonna pocket a pair of those climbing spikes. The boot grabber.
2.
Okay.
One for each foot.
Okay.
That was good.
So
Well,
there's one way to in deeper into the mines from here.
Well, again, I was gonna say if the stuff is free and it looks useful,
You have no idea if
we
it's
don't
free
know
or
if
not.
it's free.
There's just
We're with
no one
you, it's free.
around.
We're with you. It's free.
Now you're stealing.
Let's just grab some crap. Gideon doesn't give a crap about that.
No, but I'm going to.
This
guilt
is where
you
the morals
regardless.
begin. When we start taking things away from the bad guys. Gideon just starts filling his pockets with all the things. Just saying.
I don't know, I'm just still gonna guilt you every time.
Moving
That's
on.
hilarious.
So you
Moving
move it on.
onward.
Okay, so you go around the corner and then you see where that kind of glow is coming from, and there are runes and a circle kind of etched into the ground into a room that's just offshoot from the off to the side from the main corridor. You look at that, and it's obviously they're arcane runes, but you've never seen something like this before. You kind of come up closer to it, and you're like trying to make out what it is without stepping into it because you're not sure. You can roll an Arcana if you so wish.
Comprehend languages work?
No, you can already read the magic.
Oh, okay. Arcana 14.
So you know that this is some sort of... This was a theory in your day that you would be able to inscribe a set of runes and a particular image on the ground and a set of lines and whatnot, and enhance it with magic using those crystals you guys had found, and then do the similar thing several miles away,
Teleportation.
and
circle.
then you would be able to use some sort of incantation to teleport between the two. It was a theory in your day, but this looks like it's now somehow in practice.
Well, there's a theory in my day, so I'm still not convinced it works. So
Go
I'm
for
going.
it.
I'm going to try to get.
There were tests, and there were some things that came out that were Cronenberged. If you know what that is,
We got ourselves a Brundlefly.
It's there were things that like partially teleported and whatnot. It was still very much a theory back then, and there were some tests that you ran like local from that side of the room to that side of the room to try to get it to work, but it was far from.
Got it up to
perfect.
like 56%.
Yeah, 56% of you would teleport properly.
Exactly.
The other
That was
50
progress.
You teleport an apple, half of it, it's sliced exactly in half. One half is intact, the other half is applesauce.
Or just the juice goes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Only the skin of the apple
Only
went.
certain elements.
Ooh,
only certain,
yeah.
only
And
certain atoms
You would
go.
you would teleport it and be like, there was no cat. Where did the where did the cat back end come from?
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, alright.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to explain to them, what I think this is, and I'm going to say if we want to try it out, I volunteer Gideon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. But don't let him take the canary. We need the canary.
Yeah, we need the
This
canary.
Coming up from this one.
I'll hold
Does
the
it say the words on the circle or something? Does that mean? Does he know how to use
Yeah,
it?
he sees the arcane. He doesn't know. You don't know how to use it, but you know you can read the individual magic that, and you're like, oh, they solved that problem by using that rune instead of the one we were using before. That kind of thing. I mean, like that line is
I
drawn.
can see how the
there.
math tracks up.
Yeah. So,
Meaning again, I could stand on the teleportation circle, but I mean,
so if you guys have questions about how the map looks, make sure you ask her. She's got that full color image of basically of the area. So, anyways, moving on from there, you move into the next room. We see that there's desks set up in a kind of a corner of this large cavern, and there are 4 dwarves sitting there with jeweler's glasses, basically, and they're looking at small little tiny crystals that
Just entering that big room.
yeah, they're looking at small little tiny crystals on their glass, and then sometimes they throw it into a bucket to the left, and sometimes they throw it into a bucket to the right. You're not sure what exactly that means, but they're kind of going through. Occasionally, one of them will take and start tinkering on it with a hammer or a file, or brushing it off with a little brush.
Very familiar with these tools.
You're very familiar with these tools. In fact, they're kind of acting like they're kind of like uncovering an artifact, so to speak, and cleaning off the little extra
These
stone.
are presumably gold nuggets.
They're
not like glowing gems.
It's a
or
crystal.
anything.
They are crystals.
They are crystals. Okay.
They have a faint glow.
Okay.
Go tell them we require those for our journey.
I'm gonna ask them what this.
And so, as you kind of step in, I'm gonna explain what the bigger cavern to the left is. You see the mine tracks kind of going off, and it actually goes off into 3 different directions. We'll just call it left, middle, and right. However, it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Yes.
And then there's also kind of a stream that's kind of coming through the wall, and that stream is powering what looks to be some sort of forge. The forge itself is not currently being ran. Inside this room, you see that there are several dwarven guards, as well as several of those mechanical men posted up next to those 3 ways. And then there's to the south, there's a one single hallway that kind of goes that direction as well. There are also mechanical men that are balled up, and there's a dwarven tinkerer of sorts kind of coming over and kind of messing with his innards and lightly swearing to himself as he's working on one of these men's kind of on the south side of the room. So you walk over, and there are the 4 dwarves set up, 2 in each corner basically, and you kind of get a better look. And there's a small buckets, and one of them has one of the buckets has gems that just glow ever so slightly, and another bucket has is of gems that seemingly have almost no glow, maybe glow, you know.
Not enough glow.
Not enough
Clearly.
glow.
Yes.
Yeah. And anyway, so you walk up to the one, and he looks up to you. He says, "My lord, you're getting a lot of that today."
Yep. Keep inflating the ego.
Yep.
What are you separating these?
He says, these have no potency. He says, these here have some magics to them.
What are they used for?
Yeah. I'm going to reach in and pick up a couple of the ones that have some potency and
Yeah.
hold them up, look at them, and say,
Yeah,
so what uses...
You're looking at through some light and whatnot, and you're like, so these are kind of they're even more dull than the rock that you crunched up earlier. And
oh, that's the entire reason why I grabbed a couple of them. You don't need these.
And he says, yes, this is not a good place to mine these, but we do find them when we're going through. Especially the deeper we go, the more we find. They hold some value, but not much.
What are they used?
Oh,
Yeah,
he says, well, with much distilling, he says, you can get a lot of magical essence out of one of these.
Fascinating. And then he's just boldly going to just pocket them and walk away. Just
He kind of acknowledges that. He looks a little sad, and he goes back to his work. And then, outside of your earshot, as soon as you walk away, he mumbles something in Dwarvish about not meeting his quota.
He's not gonna be able
I
to
didn't
feed
grab
his
like a
family.
handful. I just grabbed a couple.
That's enough, because the bucket that has glowy is significantly smaller in number than the bucket that doesn't.
So his family's gonna starve to death.
Congratulations.
It's all you.
You're a murderer.
Yeah.
Now you're on their side?
Hope you feel good about it.
Anyway, so you can
Always.
you can write down 2 dimly glowing, dimly glowing,
Glimly glowing.
dimly glowing
Glimly
rocks.
We have to snort the entire thing in order to like get just even a little bit of like a buzz.
We'll talk about that later.
With
When that
poisons.
ultimately
Oh,
happens.
good. What I've been doing is coke. This is crack.
No, this is you going to the plant that cocaine comes out of, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna try to smoke this, and nothing really happens.
Yeah.
But you're like, somehow cocaine comes from this.
What sorcery do I have to do?
So, anyway, so yeah, you're here. The dwarves kind of are posted guard. There's the one that's kind of working on some of these mechanical beasts, mechanical men that seem to be not moving. Where the ones that are kind of stationed near the tracks, they do seem to shift and move around and look around.
Just go take a look at the one that's not moving.
There are a total of 3 of them that are not moving,
Okay.
all on the south side of the room. And the dwarf is working on the middle one.
Do they appear to be damaged? Do they appear to be like rusted?
So you kind of get up and get a good look, and the dwarf stops, and he looks over to you, and he says, what do you need? What do you...
Why aren't they working?
He says, oh, the mushroom men are able to disable them.
How?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Is there any visible residue or
Invisible residue.
is there any visible residue?
Just gonna get some lost in translation.
I'm a professor.
He says, well, they're not affected. They're not affected by the
Fog.
The fog. So we've been trying to send them into the fog. However, they come back and seemingly have no juice to them, and they don't make it very far. And we have to drag them here.
Mushroom men are sucking them dry.
Yeah, probably. Does this only happen when you send them into the fog, or like can you send them into areas that are not taken by the fog and they come back the same way?
The same way.
Okay.
He says, but we've been using them because of their immunity to the fog.
I'd like to investigate one of them. The one he isn't working on. Or one of the ones that he isn't working on.
Okay.
Just wanna, like, if it's got any relation to, like, a human, or if I can figure out, like, what's...
It's humanoid in shape, but it's got gears and pulleys and odd ball joints and various different mechanics to it that is probably beyond your comprehension on how it works. Yeah, it's some weird construct thing.
Okay. Is there a visible power source for these things?
Yes, on the ones that you had seen in town, and then the ones here, they glow on the inside, down and kind of in their belly.
Okay.
And these
Presumably
ones
like
aren't glowing.
crystals.
No.
Okay. Does that part of the structure appear to be melted or rusted or broken?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So it just sapped.
Yeah.
Completely sapped.
Strained.
Like the battery's just dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Tracks up with what we know about the mushroom people.
They
Yeah.
stuck out the magics.
I was just curious to see if they if it was anything like when, like you said, it's not that the fact that they can't move, it's that they won't. Like they are under some sort of, but they're not creatures, so you can't. Never mind.
Yeah.
Answer my own question.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm-
Okay.
All right.
I'd start heading towards where I don't even think we got his name, the foreman.
Yeah, no, nobody ever asks for names.
Eh.
Let's go
To-
find.
to me, it's just,
Dragon.
"Hey, you."
Let's go find.
Did he have a plaque on the
half-elf.
door? Did the
Master.
You're right.
Yep.
Alright.
Let's go find half elf and kill him.
Follow the instructions that we were
Yep.
given to get to the outpost.
You are here.
Oh,
Which
cool. So ask around which direction Erden went.
Okay. So you ask one of the dwarves that are standing there, kind of guarding the entranceway. Hey, there was a
There's a
half elf. He
big
came
green
through
guy.
here yesterday. Do you know where he went and whatnot? And they point. Well, he went down, and they point towards the middle path. He went down that way. Then we lost sight of him. We don't know where he went after that.
middle pathway it is then.
All right. Let's go.
Okay. This is where you hate me.
Okay.
So you follow, there's a set of mine tracks that go through there, and then it goes into a large cavern that splits off into 1, 2, 3, 4 other directions, and then in the middle of that, there's a elevator of sorts that's rigged up that goes up into the higher kind of levels of the mine. And when you go and you look, there's a slight purple fog kind of coming from the two directions to your left.
Now again, so now that we've
And-
seen it, does it look familiar?
No, it does not. It's actually the purple fog isn't what you would say
I sure hope I did that right.
consistent.
Probably.
It has not having a straight
Another
consistency.
rainy
It's like puffs of cloud, kind of coming together. There's dense spots. There's light spots. You can see little white, like little puff balls,
Moats.
moats, kind of floating in the center of the larger kind of clouds of.
So this
of-
fog is everywhere in this chamber?
No, it's
Just
everywhere
down
on
these two.
down those two. It's kind of
So the two to the left.
yeah,
Two
and
to the
it's
left,
kind of
one to the right, one ahead.
yeah. So it's two to the left. Both
Yeah,
have
right.
that. And
How far away from where we
and-
enter is it?
Not very.
So we're here,
Okay.
and there, and there.
Yeah.
Gideon grabs the cage and is going to start walking
he says, and then it says,
right towards where the fog
it
is.
starts rattling. It says, no, 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 no. In abyssal.
Oh. I'm like, whoa! They'll be like, I'll say, oh, sorry. They said you would make noise. I was curious if there was a special noise you would make when we got close. I just wanted to be able to know. But you talk. And I say that in abyssal.
It says, yes, talk. No, no, no.
Okay, sorry. No, I'm not actually going to take you in there. It's okay.
It says, mask. Claim on ceiling. No walk.
Mask? He said mask?
Yeah.
Claim on ceiling?
Climb on ceiling.
Oh, okay. They
No
have
walk.
they have masks for the purple fog?
No. You need mask.
How do I get mask? Where do I get mask from?
Climb on ceiling.
You shirt.
Oh,
Use shirt.
okay. Let me see your
Do you-
cape.
do you-
He says I need your cape.
You're talking to the canary.
Yeah. He's telling us that if we go into the fog that your cape will keep us safe. He said specifically the blue cape that you have
I checked my bag to make sure that the rest of my powder is still there.
Yep.
And
Safe and sound.
Yeah.
In fact, it looks looking real delicious.
just, I'm checking to make sure he didn't get into it, because,
Nah, dude, I've been there before. Not interested in going back just because of that roll. Otherwise, I totally would be.
Did you give him your cape?
I don't think I do. It's him, and he got this information from the canary. I don't think I'd believe
also,
him.
You speak Canary now?
Oh, he's speaking the language of, and then I would, do I know it's called Abyssal? Because it's like it's ancient language thing, right?
Yeah, there's not a name for it.
Yeah.
In fact, you were one of the few people that even know about the language's existence.
Yeah.
Kind of
So-
like Old Greek.
I was gonna say, yeah, he speaks.
He's speaking Latin.
Yeah.
Well, no, I speak Latin.
No, I mean, did you notice how I understood the Panthers? I remember that when I was talking to the Panthers. There must be some beast language. It's something that we didn't have a name for it back in the day, and it was kind of this forbidden language, but they speak it apparently. So he's just saying, if we're gonna walk again, you don't have to do it now, but if we have to walk through the haze, he says your cape. There's something about the material. And something to do with that blue dye. I don't know, man. I can roll a deception.
Blue dye number.
He
12.
he
Do you want me to
starts,
roll a deception?
he starts shaking the cage a little bit. He says, "You understand?
I do understand.
Let me out. Let out."
We need you. Are you going to stay with us? Because we need you to stick with us to watch out for us. Because apparently you can see things and you understand things that we can't.
Says, "We trade.
Trade what?
I give you a secret, and then you let me go."
Dude, sorry, it doesn't work like that. For all I know, your secret is like if you poke your finger in your nose, like you can see in the dark or something like that. For all I know, your secret's a lie. So I'm sorry. I mean, I'm gonna have to it would have to be verifiable that this secret's a thing.
I don't like you.
That's fine.
You walk in mist.
Okay, let's go walk in the mist then. I start walking towards the mist with him.
He says. He turns into a rock.
Okay.
I love this guy.
So, I
He's
just-
my favorite.
Yeah, I'm just standing there watching him argue with the canary, and then wander
And
towards
for all
the
you
mist.
know, we're just having words. You don't
Yeah.
know what we're saying.
Yeah, but argue for sure. There
Yeah,
was
it's-
definitely argument.
Yeah.
Is it like when you watch someone have conversations, like full conversations with their cat or dog? Like
He says
you always do this. You always just push people away.
He says, sorry, he just says he really doesn't like you because you're not sharing your cape with us all. Sorry.
I don't like him either. We're on the same page. Now,
Yeah,
while you're talking with the bird, we mushroom
Ask him
people
if he
might
has-
be dying.
ask him if he has a name.
Rock.
I'm gonna let you name him.
It's gotta be something like, it's just like sounds, you know what I mean?
Like the sounds of two pebbles when you tap them together.
Yeah, he makes some sort of can we make it so it's because sometimes language isn't just the name, it's also like
A
gestures
description.
or whatever or something like that. So he makes this little gesture as he makes
He
this
goes
clicking
he goes
sound.
Futzel,
Okay.
Can you repeat that?
Futzel.
Flitzel, I will do it. I'm looking forward to letting you go. Flitzel,
Futzel.
Flitzel. It's hard for me to do that. I got I'm holding the thing and
We're just seeing Flitzel. Flitzel? Flitzel.
Flitzel. Is the secret in the mist?
You let me out?
For all I know, Flitzel, your secret will lead us to more horror.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. I don't know how I can just trust your word.
Well, he's arguing with the canary. I'm going to start making my way to
That's
the
fine.
far one.
We can have this conversation as we walk.
The far one?
Yeah, the one
Straight
straight.
ahead.
I'm happy to just
So
follow
there's
behind
an
talking
elevator
to
in the center.
bird.
That's what that is.
Yep.
Okay.
And that goes up.
And it goes
we need
up.
to go down.
We need to go down.
Yep. So.
Are there any half elf shaped footprints?
Nope, this is
Okay.
you're pure stone here.
So there's purple mist in those two. Can you see, like, how opaque is the mist?
It's pretty transparent, but it does cause sight issues. You only,
Okay.
you lose like after like 20
Okay.
feet.
Okay.
It's
So
kind of like actual fog, where like you're right up against the fog, you can see right through it, but then
but not as far as you normally would. So then to the right, just a glance down that track.
okay, it turns immediately to the left.
How far into this big cave does the mist extend?
Oh, it
There's
doesn't.
no
it
mist.
doesn't go into the cave. It's
Okay,
right
it's
at
just right at the end of the tunnels.
Yep.
Cool. So I'm gonna walk up to the edge of the mist cloud.
Yep.
How do I feel?
I don't know. How do you feel? Are you feeling all right today?
Yeah, feeling fine.
You're feeling a little sick in your stomach, but that's mostly because of the events of yesterday.
Okay. So I don't. This isn't feeling really poisonous.
Not at this point.
How far in can I see? Can I get an idea of how the tunnel?
20 feet
20 feet. Okay. So does it
straight.
straight?
So you're walking into a mist-filled one?
She's
Didn't you
No,
say
I'm
that?
walking up
She's standing
to
standing
the
up to the mist.
Pretty much just as far as I can go without feeling horrible.
Sure.
That's what we brought the canary for.
Roll Constitution saving throw.
Is this versus poison?
Maybe.
Because I have resistance if it's poison. I'm a stout halfling.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Say
that's
what?
advantage.
You said yes to me. Am I supposed to do something? Okay.
Ugh, it's horrible. That's a 12.
So you guys are standing there, and she's standing up at the edge here, and then Flitzel just says, "She dumb." as you're there, the fog isn't entirely stationary, and it just kind of envelops around you just
Okay.
ever so slightly. But because of the transparency,
I can't really tell.
you couldn't really tell, and then you're catching a whiff of it, and you feel sick.
Our friend
Cool. I'm gonna pull up my scarf over my face.
Our friend says you should back up.
I back up and pull up the scarf over my face.
And so you are poisoned for the next hour.
Technically, he said you're dumb.
That's what I get.
Is there any way to tell what's causing this? They said that it was the spore.
The mushroom people.
people, right?
Mhm.
I don't. It's kind of a stretch. Want to open my mind to the mist and like if I can. Get a
Hello?
hold, I know it's wild. It's just like I said, it's a stretch. But I'm trying to catch that same feeling like I did when I was taken by the queen of the
Oh,
mushroom people.
see, here's the
last
thing. Here's the thing. Nate's not the only one that's doing drugs today. So you walk into this, and I want to catch a feeling.
I didn't say.
Pencil says she's dumb too. He's dumb too.
I get what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right? Do you walk into the mist?
I say commit. I mean, if you're already
Yeah,
at this point, you might as well commit.
Because she had said that they were our friends.
Mhm.
I'm hoping that if they're reading our intentions, then they might, be able to tell that we aren't.
I think this is awesome.
Roll a Constitution.
If he hadn't openly mocked you after you had the idea, I would believe this would work.
Please, mushroom people, call off the mustard gas.
Oh. Okay.
Constitution.
Mhm.
16.
You are successful. You don't feel sick. However, you can feel it kind of enter your lungs. It has a little bit of a burning sensation.
Spores.
And there's none of the feeling. It doesn't feel the same. It feels different.
Okay.
This is not the same at all.
Okay. So I don't feel a presence of.
You don't feel a presence.
Of
No.
them. Okay. I'll just get myself out of it and try to cough it out.
You start hacking.
I would have definitely said I really don't feel so good when I came out.
She doesn't look so good. In fact, she's getting a shade of purple.
I don't feel so
Great.
good, Mr. Stark.
Purple.
Aelrindel.
Just saying. Just
About-
kind of just
You gonna actually do something about this or
A
what?
flush.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down that, the mine shaft that doesn't have the purple death gas.
I'll come over. And oh wait, I don't have anything.
It would be what, like lesser restoration?
Unless, and I'll look at,
protection against poison.
your character and say, unless you want a turn.
No, I'm good. I don't know.
Not without the cake.
Huh?
I
No,
put
that's
stone
cake.
in my hat instead of an amulet. Otherwise,
So, yeah, I'm gonna start going,
Is there anything you
down
do
the
first?
straight.
Do I have? Sorry, I was thinking about something. I was looking for a second too.
This is down the street?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are you dying?
I don't feel so good. I feel like I'm gonna be really bad at things for the next hour.
Sluggish and tired.
Yeah, I feel like I'm nauseous, woozy, not thrilled, not loving this.
I'll
not
do
happy.
some.
If I can hear her listing off symptoms, I'm just gonna yell back, they warned you.
I'll go ahead and do some.
Do I be sexist at this point? No.
Huh?
Do I be sexist at this point? And I said, no. No, the audience wouldn't know me as a person and then therefore would just assume that I'm sexist rather than I like to make sexist jokes but I actually believe in them.
I don't know if I've got any. Do I have anything that? Well, I had
Lesser
that.
restoration.
Oh, okay, yeah. I have it as a celestial thing, so I'll use lesser restoration for
Okay.
her. She didn't take any damage, though, right?
Right.
She's just
Yeah,
it's a.
she has a
Yep,
condition.
so she has a condition. So you cast your Lesser Restoration and press your hand against her and event. Yeah, she instantly in a big like purple white with a little bit of white glob just kind of comes out of her lungs
Phlegm.
and phlegm and just right under the ground. Ugh.
That's disgusting.
Ugh. Yeah, that is disgusting. Why did you do that? Do that?
We weren't supposed to inhale.
I was curious. I'm
Suddenly the halflings being kobolds makes more sense.
I did have a quick question.
Yeah.
That thing that Tadnat had taught us, like way back when.
Oh
was, like, all we
yeah.
have to do is like think of something and like the
Think of a place.
Think of a place in the
Place.
yes.
It has to be a place.
Oh, it's not a person.
It's
No.
not a person.
Okay.
Well, I can't think of the location of someone. Like if for example, somebody said to meet me at this crossroads, and I could think of that crossroads.
You could think of that crossroads.
Okay. But
Um,
not just I can't think of that person's location.
So we're heading towards
where
the
they are.
tunnel that doesn't have all the smoke.
We're going
Well,
down
so-
the far one.
It's a far long tunnel and eventually splits off. There's a way to go to the right
Yeah, we can go to the right, or we can continue.
or you can continue straight.
Do either of them look like they're descending more than the other?
All these tracks are leading down.
There's
from
a
that
slow
center
grade
point.
all the way
Yeah.
down.
That center point or whatever with the
Elevator?
shaft up, that is probably the highest point, and all the other exits kind of slowly go down.
Okay.
And that's kind of what's keeping that fog in is because you're kind of
It's lower.
it's lower.
Okay.
It's kind of
It sinks.
it sinks and settles.
So it's denser than the air.
Climb on the ceiling.
He didn't tell us to climb on the ceiling.
All I wanted was my cloak.
How would you do that?
I didn't. I like.
I've
Gideon
got these
didn't
things on my
repeat it.
shoes.
Yeah, Gideon didn't repeat it. The only thing he said, the only way to take care of it.
You did repeat that she's dumb.
I did repeat that part. Yeah.
Look,
Only what matters.
look. Intelligence is not my dump stat, but it's not my highest.
Yeah.
I would keep
It's
going.
only my
straight.
second dump stat.
Your
Follow
mom
me.
is my dumb stat.
Wow.
Sorry.
At home we do that. Your mom is a very nice woman.
Okay.
Yeah, we keep
Alright.
following the tracks that. So the tracks go down both.
They go down both.
Let's keep following on the straight one. Start taking lefts and rights, or we're gonna get lost down here.
See, I really want to go every left.
This is the left.
No, those were lefts. That was a left. We're not going in the direction I want to go, but it's fine.
Yeah, this is the right way.
Okay, we ready?
I'm not gonna split.
You want to go down that direction?
Yes.
Okay.
He's convinced he knows the way.
We could just let him go off by himself.
Like this?
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
Just let him go.
Oh, you want your fast pass?
That's right. I guess we can't leave without you, can we?
Yeah, 3 slaves walk out without their master.
No, it's fine. The dwarf said he would go back in. He would
So
say
I
he
was
would go.
trying to
And
get
you
a
guys
little bit
would end
more
up at a nice
information
little
out
field
of this
trip.
guy about a secret. I was trying to kind of deem whether or not he was telling me the truth, like, or does if he has kind of like deceitful intentions in mind. And I said I was kind of like, well, we can kind of talk about it as we go. I'd be still trying to figure out what he means by secret and if I can actually trust him.
Yeah, there's water in this.
Okay.
area.
Well, he's not very talkative.
It's
I
not
mean,
purple.
he kind of talks like Abbott.
Yeah.
Which is a big negative. Sorry, Abbott. So you're following these tracks that kind of go down, just like so. That's really terrible.
It's fine. We get the idea.
Yeah.
There's no mini cam today.
There's no min cam. All right.
Well, how about this? Can I just say to him, like, tell you what, how about when we get to the secret, you can stop and say, we're about to get to the secret.
He says you're getting warmer.
We're playing hot and cold with the method.
Well, I'm just trying to, like,
Canary.
I'm trying to find a reasonable opportunity to be, like, to let him go. I said, like, do you have an escape route? Because it seems to me like this place is pretty well guarded. Do you know where to go?
He says it's let's go do thing. And by the time you get that out of him, you are here.
It's let's go do thing.
No, I'm asking him
Yeah, that's
his plan to get out.
Oh, to get out?
Yeah, it's like, how are you going to get out?
What do you mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Never
he's
mind.
at home.
Never mind. All right, sure. Sure, tell me a secret. I'll let you go.
He says it's less
The secret is less...
less place, more thing. Doing a thing.
What do we need? What do I need to do?
So you guys can enter into this. You enter
own
into
personal
this
cliffhanger.
cavern here, and there's a small pool that's on one side there, and it continues. The tracks continue down, and although you see on your map it's a dead end, you can't quite see that yet. And so you're following the tracks down, and
Is the,
you get to here, and the canary turns back into a rock.
is the water still, or is it?
The water is very still, yes.
Is it so still I could see my reflection in it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Is this?
Okay. You need that inspiration for what's coming up. So.
Oh, goody.
I haven't got. No, thanks.
What'd you turn in?
It was a hand mirror.
Okay.
So, like, I'm guessing, like, I'm trying to get this guy to talk, and he just clams up, and I'm like, do what? I'll let you go. Do what? Do what?
So he's struggling with it. You guys kind of see
he
that.
turns into a rock. Like, is it obvious that he's saying something and then turns into a rock and interrupts himself?
Well, I'm actually letting Josh just tell the narrative. I assume
Roll
he doesn't
an
want-
insight.
Cool.
I'm assuming you don't want us. Like, it's too late. You gave me my chance, and I blew it. Is kind of how I'm seeing this, right? This is what he was gonna. This was a secret.
Oh, 16.
Yeah. He kind of looked over, and then clammed up.
Look
Rock.
where?
And he looked towards the cave that you're entering.
Okay, just towards the cave, not
Yeah.
specifically towards the water.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Okay.
He's got little tiny eyes.
Okay. I'm going to draw my rapier and be on the lookout.
So we'll see you draw your weapon.
Well, and you see more than I draw my weapon. You see me looking around very intently, like I'm looking for threats.
You okay over there? Do you see something?
Is your friend all right? He shut up awful quick.
Good.
Well, he was telling me he has a secret. If I let him go, he'll tell me a secret. But I mean, what can you trust with these guys, right? So I was telling him, okay, I'll let him go. He said something about it's not go, it's do something. And that's all I got. And then he clammed up, and he won't talk to me now. I don't know. I'm sure it's fine. I'm playing stupid because
So you guys
Playing?
having this conversation as you're kind of walking just a little bit further, and as you kind of like get this far into the room, the entire pool of water lights up, and streaks of energy like completely envelop the pool of water.
Cool.
We're gonna roll initiatives. Everybody's just gonna roll perception for their initiative. And they're rolling. It's rolling.
Nice.
I had nowhere to
Stealth.
talk.
is that what I rolled?
You rolled a 3.
Okay.
Sure, hope I go first.
Right?
21.
Jeff?
8.
Too busy arguing with your rock.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Liz?
4.
Nate?
I rolled a 1, so I mean, you
21.
can't fail here.
And
This should
27.
27. Okay.
27.
It makes sense. She was looking around.
Yeah.
And I have expertise in perception.
You know what the problem is? He's never going to have us roll initiative based on performance.
Yes,
or
actually, they can,
persuasion.
It could happen.
they can happen. You got to be in the right kind of situation. You have to be talking to your enemies before
Combat starts.
combat starts for those to be relevant.
Or if your street performance
So,
went
like-
sideways.
So
That's
like,
right.
Yeah, like that. That would be good
so yeah, an example of that is like you're talking to the dwarf, right? And we went to a traditional encounters there back at the dwarf and the thing. You would be rolling your something.
I almost attacked him just for fun. I really
Yeah.
did.
Okay. Anyways.
And I'm the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The person not
Yeah.
advocating for highway robbery.
Yeah. Highway robbery. Okay, I'll concede it was robbery.
Robbery with some light murder.
No, we weren't gonna murder him. But I mean, yeah, we can Robin Hood it up. I'm down with that. That works with my that works
All right.
with my alignment. How are you handling your alignment?
So you guys, the entire pool of water seems to electrify, and then bursting out of the water is this
Perform.
gigantic hulking beast.
Ooh, look at
It
It's so
has
cool.
it has metal armored plates and with a kind of a lizard interior, and it curls up into a ball, and then with little bits of lightning kind of coming off of it, it shoots across the room and hits the wall here.
Yikes.
And as it does, a lot of the stone and rock from the ceiling crumble down.
Haha.
Yeah, we're locked in the room.
It's okay, guys. I have a pickaxe.
Oh, there it is. Crumble down and kind of block your entry.
Kind of block or definitely block?
You look well, this is how I'll put it. Mississippi and Felric probably could get through the hole that's remaining. The three larger of you, like that would be.
He doesn't even need the hole.
That would be a stretch. Okay. This.
More of a stretch for you two.
Yeah. It would be many rounds of you squeezing through, basically.
I'm gonna start doing that.
So
I'm
that
just kidding.
that's the start of it, and then it lands and then turns to you, and then as it stands there, its metal plate streaks of lightning kind of hit the ground next to it, and it's your turn, Emily.
Hi. Okay. Bonus
Or
action.
Mississippi. I should call you
in-
by your character names.
That's fine. Bonus action, insightful fighting.
Does insightful fighting have to work on a? Does it have to be against a certain int creature? Or
It
anything?
just says you make an insight check against a creature you can see that isn't incapacitated, contested by the target's deception check.
All right.
I have a modified 20.
Okay. What else?
Okay, cool. So now, oh gosh, on a scale from 1 to 20, how dumb am I?
Very.
Very dumb. All right, I'm gonna go run up and stab it. Yeah.
We're about to learn about electricity, kids.
Yeah, we are. I'm
Okay.
gonna stab it with my rapier, my shard heart rapier.
Huh.
I'm going to try to. That is a 19 to hit.
Okay. That hits.
Okay.
Okay.
So that is a total of 19 piercing damage
19 piercing damage. All right.
from the shard heart.
So you take your metal weapon and thrust it up into its. You find a section where its metal plates of its are parted, and you thrust it up against in between those plates, and the energy that's kind of streaking off of it and hitting the ground finds an easier path through your sword.
Yep, it sure
All right.
does.
So you have you can roll a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, just flat. Okay. Wow. Okay. So that is going to be a whopping 11.
Okay. So you take.
You did just get a inspiration if you wanted.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Didn't you?
No.
Sorry, not
Like,
inspiration. I meant.
Oh, that is- no, yeah, okay.
Your,
Okay.
No,
your
I'm not going
reroll.
to use it on that.
okay.
It's fine. It's an 11.
You take 10 electrical damage. Okay. And how does this go? Okay. And you feel your skin fuse to your weapon.
Gross. Okay.
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 That is your turn.
Yeah. Yep, that's...
Anything else?
Nope, that's all I can do.
Okay, we got Felric and Aelrindel. You both have 21. So you both get to.
We learned.
Choose
I'm gonna
which
take
one
a
is
couple
bow
steps back
or
and
crossbow is much better right now.
take a
Or non-metal
few steps
weapons,
back.
like a quarterstaff.
Yeah, do you have one?
and
No.
I got one.
Even if she could, her hand is.
For now. We'll see.
Does someone need a wooden?
Oh, hey! I have the whip. I have
Sure
metal
do.
bands on
Yeah,
the
make
on
it
the
stronger.
handle, but not on the length of it.
Yeah, make it stronger. That's a really good
Yeah,
idea.
I really don't need it to have advantage
Uh,
on
you-
athletics right now.
yeah, I'm just gonna panically third level Aelrindel's multifaceted multi-something sphere, and Tides of Chaos is available.
Yeah, didn't you?
Yep.
You
You
did.
used that earlier. We're totally surging right now.
It's about time.
So
Finally, yay! Yes!
Is that
269.
269. That's
Yeah.
that's
really
pretty.
low?
Nice.
Maybe it's not the last one you roll.
Yeah.
The closest town is destroyed. Hey, all your elf friends are dead!
Unless
the
the
ally
mining
who
town.
just most recently
No,
did
that's not
damage
town.
is dead.
It's a little community. It's not a town.
Something different.
That'd be hilarious. Because I know that's one of them.
Yeah.
One of them is like, it literally just destroys the nearest big city.
Okay.
There's what is it? The nearest paladin.
Yeah.
So
It's like
when you
-1
cast
to
your
everything.
spell,
Yep.
the entire kind of cavern lights up as little tiny fireworks that exactly imitate or mimicked what you saw in the middle of the night last night.
He's high again.
Erupt in the air around. Go ahead and what was your damage and stuff?
I didn't even bother with
Or
that yet.
attack roll then.
Yep. 20 something. 20.
What do you need?
Yes.
What do you need?
Several D8s and a D6. Two. Or no.
So the spell
several
goes off like normal,
D6
it
and
just
2D8s,
causes
sorry.
fireworks?
Hmm?
The spell goes off like normal, it just causes fireworks?
Twinkling
Damage
lights.
type. Please don't be electric.
Yeah, but it's the lights that he saw
Listen,
last
thank you.
night.
Cool.
Just
I
tie it
love
in.
8, 9, 11, 12, 13,
Bring it all
14,
full
15.
circle.
16 poison?
That was nice.
16 poison.
Wait. 18 poison. I did not see that die immediately.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
How far away is he?
Not far.
Not far at all.
Within riding distance.
15 feet for you to move.
Alright. So before I go up to him, I'm going to use something I haven't gotten to use yet.
Oh, God.
So, we discussed this earlier. Basically, you all have seen Ghostbusters, right? If you haven't, you
Do you have a
probably
proton
It's been
pack?
a long time.
Okay.
but yeah,
So
go ahead.
basically, when they first go into the library and they talk to the lady that's the ghost that's reading the book and does the whole,
Horror visit.
that's what I
message.
do towards him, and he has to make a wisdom save.
Yeah. So
Oh,
so
cool.
he makes a horrifying visage of himself.
Really?
Like nose, eyes in the sockets, big gaping.
Does that have to
mouth,
do with
and-
the fact that you're incorporeal now?
That I'm a ghost, yes.
That you're a ghost? That is awesome.
Freddy Krueger just made a horror face.
I got a 17.
So it did not work then. He is not frightened, which is a bummer. But
I'm a bit startled. Gideon's kind of like, what the crap
The
just
rest of us are
happened?
kind of pooping themselves.
Because you're standing right next to me, and suddenly there's this.
Yeah.
Does only it see it, or do we all see it?
it's one person that I can use it against.
Okay,
Even
never
if
mind.
it's-
So I'm
So
gonna
you
say
just see him
I'm
make a.
no. I'm gonna say that you all see it, but it's not focused or harnessed towards you.
Okay.
I imagine it's almost like it appears 3D when you're looking at it,
Yeah.
but it's actually about that thick.
Yeah.
So I see this thing, and it's and if you're behind it, it looks really weird,
Yeah.
like inverted and.
So it didn't work. I want to at least do that. That did use
Yeah.
the attack, but I still have movement bonus, so
That's too bad.
it is too bad. But what's going to happen then is I'm going to go up to it, and I'm going to
Gosh.
spend a key to do flurry of blows.
Oh man, really? Shit.
Oh.
Okay.
So next time.
What?
Yeah, 9:30.
Do you want to finish out this round? I know what I'm doing real fast.
Yeah,
You
we'll
know what
finish
you're
the
doing?
round, and then what I'll
Alright.
do is I'll snapshot this, and then we'll continue it
Alright.
next time.
So that's going to be 19 for the first one, and
Yep. You are hitting him.
Yeah, he's
I'm
gonna
gonna
run up and
roll.
smack him.
and second one of the flurry of blows is going to be critical failure.
Oh yay!
Okay, first off, you don't get a saving throw. You just take the damage.
Because I actually.
Because, yeah.
Which one of these is it?
Because there was no conduit?
Wait, this is
He just straight up touched it.
this is not
Yeah.
very long.
You touched it with metal, but the metal's attached to other things, which means
Right.
maybe you could have saved up against it or something. That's my
She-
guess.
Or maybe I wouldn't have become fused to it. I may have still taken the
Oh.
damage.
So, actually,
Just pick one.
I don't want to lift the curtain.
Okay, no, that's
Yeah.
fine. We're not
Just
lifting the
choose
curtain.
one.
It's fine.
We are just considering. We're just
Which one do I pick?
Considering, thanking God it didn't do a strike like this, and then just awkward.
Good thing my fighting style is.
It's the third one.
I still have
Third one.
another hand.
Yes.
Dominus. You and another creature within 5 feet of you and your attacker must make opposed strength athletic checks. The loser is knocked prone.
Okay, so you basically clunk into
Dude!
you clunk into her. Make a athletics checks, both of you, and then whoever loses is knocked prone.
Isn't it also the thing?
Oh.
It's just one creature, right?
Yeah, it said one thing within.
Okay.
Another creature within 5 feet.
Okay.
Yeah. So your athletics check there was
11.
5!
she knocks down
Yep.
prone.
So you miss and trip her.
Well, I missed on the second one.
Yeah.
The first one actually did.
So you
connect.
punch, you get electrocuted, then you sweep the leg,
Yeah,
and
he wasn't used to that.
So I am-
He's like, "Ugh,"
and then somehow you bump her over.
The damage for the first hit, by the way, would have been 9.
okay.
So
So
funny.
he does take
Kudos
9.
corporeal
You
for
take
half a
11.
second.
I took
Electrical
11?
electrical damage.
Okay.
Electricity.
Is she still
Or lightning
attached to the
damage.
monster?
I was never attached to the monster. My hand is fused to my rapier.
All right.
Oh, I thought it was attached, like still inside.
Its turn.
It.
If we're gonna roll dice, should we pre-roll? Oh well, never mind. Never mind.
So you can't charge. So I was gonna use this ability then.
Don't worry, guys. It only has
Bye.
3 layer actions.
So what it does is it takes its large feet in front and then
And
it
it's gonna slam on me.
stands. It kind of reels back and creates this large electrical arc in the ground, and then it slams forward, and that arc goes straight towards. Yeah, we're gonna say you.
Yeah.
Just goes straight towards you.
Yeah.
And I'll
If it's a ranged attack, it's at disadvantage because she's prone.
And it's a line.
Yeah, I can rules lawyer.
It's a line. It does.
Is it time for
15
rules so we're
feet?
fighting Pikachu?
So it
This has got to
doesn't
be right.
hit anybody else.
Metal Raichu.
We can make it. We can. Make
It'll
it
hit Gideon.
We can make it hit Gideon. So, both of you need to make Constitution saving throws.
Oh, I'm so good at those.
21.
You're okay at this.
So you take
Yeah?
you take half, and then you don't get the secondary effect.
Okay.
Better. 16.
17.
Okay.
Plus one
So you
more.
both. So 11 is the base damage. So 6 damage to each of you,
Okay.
and it's thunder. No lightning damage.
Hey, didn't you say that there were stars above us? Twinkling things
That
above
was
us?
too. That was too late. You can't turn in your.
How long does it last? Because we're still in the same round. So they're still there.
Yeah, but you had
You're not
inspiration
gonna
when it
next
happened.
week.
Yeah.
Well, I just turned in my inspiration. I just wanted to get it back.
Okay, and then Jeff, it's your turn. Yeah, is it gonna move?
Really? I'm before you? Okay.
It wants to move because it wants to charge next turn.
Oh, yikes.
So it will provoke.
Hey, yeah, you should punch it again.
Hey, opportunity attack.
Oh my
At
god.
disadvantage. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know, but it's still an opportunity
Why?
attack.
Why? No, it's gonna hurt. What? Ah!
That's a 10.
Shank it in the ankle.
It's fine. It's fine.
Why are we putting
22.
Okay.
this thing? It does.
You take
so
7
much damage.
of lightning damage
It's fine, I
back.
missed.
So it goes into the water. Now you notice the water isn't actually very deep. It's
Yeah.
probably 2 feet deep or so.
I got an
deep
idea.
for these two. But
Let's all follow it into the water and keep punching it. That's a
He takes
really
5.
good idea.
It's so much worse.
No!
Okay. Now Jeff.
Um,
Yeah, and yes,
And to see if I
the
knew
water
how
is
electricity worked.
also basically the entire pool electrified at this point.
I don't.
Gideon like throws the cage up against the wall. Is this what you were talking about?
I'm an electrician.
And I'm just
But
kidding.
it just
No.
dropped it.
Hold on.
Say what?
Hold on.
You said it.
You throw the cage against the wall, and it smashes against the rock, and it bends in just a fashion. We'll talk about that later.
Sure we will.
Flutzel is gone.
Not gone.
Just piecing out slowly.
Needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw. We got a 15.
That meets.
So I take half then.
20. So 10.
Okay. Anything else?
Bonus action healing word. Her, because she's taking a bunch of damage, right?
Yep. And then Liz, it'll be your turn next.
8.
Thank you.
My turn?
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna go. Then I have movement still, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna go sit on the cage then.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna Sacred Flame.
This is you?
Yeah.
You're saying
So, a dex save.
Dex save. Failure.
Yes! That's right.
About time someone fails something,
Right.
right?
So it's gonna
But I'm
take
not
2d8
How generous of you.
damage. Thank you for
Yeah, I keep forgetting that my vicious mockery is 2d4.
You know, it's not a good
12.
idea.
So 12 radiant damage.
Okay.
See, maybe I
And
did
my.
completely
Yeah,
opposite.
no, it doesn't hate you.
I'm trying to remember if my weird little, like, bead. Yeah, my magical force gem.
Yeah,
With
so-
the spell using this focus, the spell deals force damage.
Yeah, so that's
So
your...
an extra 1d6 force damage.
Yeah, so if that wasn't force damage, that was radiant damage,
yeah.
right? So, but you on your spiritual weapon it works
Oh.
because that's force damage,
Oh, okay.
right? And that's why you're using it because that's
Whip
actually
it out!
really
And the spell, yeah, I misread it.
Yeah.
And the spell deals force damage.
yes. So
Yeah.
so, but your spiritual weapon
Yeah, whip out that
really
spiritual
really
weapon
gets
then.
some potency from that.
Can I plant one behind it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright.
Let it in front of it, because if he's gonna come back at us, then
It doesn't get an attack of opportunity or anything like that.
I know, but
It's
needs-
got less-
Let it be closer.
Yeah,
because,
like right there. So it has to go through
Oh,
it.
oh yeah. So it doesn't have to move as far.
Yeah.
Right.
Attack roll.
It's
Hey!
a really good roll.
Looks like I don't get that dice now.
Sorry, I gotta get back to it. It's my spiritual weapon. How does a
+6.
so a 22,
Yes.
right?
So
22.
Yep.
Um,
so the D8 plus the I think the D4 from the force damage.
that's 2 points of damage.
You rolled a 1 and a 1.
It is
That's
bloodied.
a 7.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding. It's a 1.
You bloodied. You still
Heck yeah.
bloodied it.
It's not bad.
And so that's that. You have. We're gonna summarize what's happening here, and then we're gonna call it a quits for the night. Basically, this thing erupted out of the water, hit the wall. Stone crumbled down,
Trapping
kind
us.
of trapping you with it. You proceed to run up and hit it. It
Excellent
melts your
idea.
hand to your weapon. Your spells spectacular. You go up and you hit it and you electrify yourself, and then trip over Mississippi, who ends up falling down. You make it bleed through its nostril just a little bit, and then you completely own its face with some magical spells. Whilst it kind of did a electrical wave, like a Jacob's ladder type thing, on Emily and Gideon. And we're gonna find out what happens around 2, maybe 3,
Can we
depending.
kill it?
Next session, and we will see you then.